Trevor, I am. Thank you. Welcome this afternoon to the lovely Renmark Oval. Nobby Norton's alongside me as well as Ben Lennon this afternoon. And we've just had the sun pop out of nowhere. Nobby, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you and Ben and to everyone tuned in. Nice drop of rain through the week has just freshened the oval up a bit. But Ben, talking to the Renmark coach before the game, he said there's a couple of spots that could be a bit slippery and he's contemplating the long stops.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, Nobby. We did see Ben Vetting hit the deck about 15 minutes ago in the B-grade game. A little sort of patch of wet grass in the pocket. But yeah, no, look, it's a cracking day. There's a few clouds around, but overall pretty sunny and pretty good to go, mate.
And speaking about the seconds game, Ben, and Waikerie, the winners there, 9-8-62, defeating reigning premiers, the Loxton Tigers, 5-4-34. Waikerie jumped them early and managed to withstand a challenge in the third quarter to run out comfortable winners and go straight through to the grand final.
Yeah, it's a big win for the Pies, that.
Yeah.
And danger for Loxton now because they're going to come up against a pretty good team next week, no matter who wins out of tomorrow's game between North and Renmark. So, yeah, a little bit of danger for the Tigers, but Waikerie, you've got to be happy with that.
And Stewie Liebeck showing the way for the Magpies too. Played a pretty good game across half forward. Not too many to go with him in that competition.
He's just too small and too quick, agile, and you've even seen it in the A grade this year, mate. He's been pretty good, but Pies huge win, and Stewie was at the heart of a lot of that, as was a few of the other experienced heads that they've got in that side. Probably similar to Loxton, I guess. A few old A graders kicking around. I
think they just had a little bit too much pace for him when the ball hit the ground. Hey, games before that, under 18s. Barmera Monash defeating a gallant Renmark side, so Barmera Monash through to the grand final, and a couple of their A-grade experienced players in. Trent Ogle was one of their major players in the under 18s, and I understand he was almost playing tomorrow, but obviously not now because he's played today. And in the under 15s, Barmera Monash defeated a previously undefeated Renmark Rovers just in the last 15 seconds.
You got them with them when it counts, Nobby. It's all well and good to go undefeated in the regular season, but come finals you want to be winning games. But I think that Renmark side was a little bit undermanned. I think there's a couple missing, and but yeah, what a day for Barmera in the juniors, because I'm sure we'll get to the 13s as well.
Yeah, just a while on under 15s, and if Renmark were going to drop a game, better off dropping the second semi than the GF. So they get to fight another day and hopefully get back for another crack at the Rouge in the grand final. Under 13s, Barmera Monash, the undefeated Barmera Monash, and you tell me the undefeated for 2 seasons, just goes through to the grand final.
It's a pretty stacked lineup. I don't know how they've managed to do it. Get a bunch of 12-year-olds to come out and dominate for 2 years in a row, mate. But the Rouge have done well. Those young fellas, playing some good footy, and they'll be definite favourites heading into the grand final in a couple of weeks' time, as they were last year.
They certainly were, Nobby. Just as we speak here, Nobby, look, last week we were here at Renmark with the Rovers. We're taking on Loxton North.
Is it Royal Renmark Oval?
Royal Renmark. It's a bit like that, isn't it? But we saw the Rovers. Look, it was really one-way traffic here last week between the Panthers and Loxton North. Today, how are we going to see anything different?
Well, I think if it was a racetrack last week, you'd be swabbing Loxton North, because I reckon they might have racked the queue pretty early once Renmark had got in front and were comfortable leaders, and I think they might have been thinking about today and not the last 3 quarters last week, Ben.
It was pretty tangible that they not pulled the pin, but definitely eased off, definitely after half-time, if not quarter-time, mate. So, the couple of big ins with Scotty Lewis coming back into the fold and Alec Kudra today, so it's a different north side, and, they want to attack it a little bit different mentally as well, I would imagine, but I'm sure Lefty's got them up and about.
So the answer to your question, Lockie, is yes, it will be different than last week, and Ben agrees. Only out for Loxton North is Worsfold.
Joel Worsfold, Look, an injury very late in the game last week, I'm told, and Nobby, we even missed it ourselves. But look, very late, a wrist or a hand injury, something like that. Look, I'm hearing that he's, if the Panthers, well, they're going to be playing another game regardless.
Okay to go in their next game.
Yes,
is what you can say.
That's what I'm hearing. Yep. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep, and looking at the Renmark lineup, Ben, unchanged.
Yeah, it's
from last
there's
week.
A couple of injury clouds sort of over a few guys. Nathan Zernick that we saw go down with the shoulder a couple of weeks ago here. Nobby, he's one that might sort of come back in the next few weeks. But after last week, mate, if you come out and beat the team that was on top of the ladder by 70-odd points, why would you change anything?
Yeah, pretty tough gig, because just about every player in that Renmark Rovers lineup played their part. And in saying that, the 2 blokes that probably knocking on the door to return, and we don't know what's going to happen today. Injury might open the door anyway. But you'd say, of course, Nathan Zernick, who has probably 2 weeks to go regardless, I think. Even if Renmark were to lose and have to play next week, he could still have that week off and perhaps get back to the grand final.
Yeah.
And Tim Blight, who'll probably get a runaround for the Rovers tomorrow in their reserves.
It's an interesting way to sum it up. Like, you don't know, is it worth, say they make it through to the grand final, is it worth bringing Zuma in after not playing a month of footy? It's a tricky one. It's one for Josh Vader to sum up.
Yeah, and that's why he gets the big money. And Lockie, it's one of those things that when you get to a grand final, there's a couple of theories.
What's that, Nobby?
Do you
what
go with the tried and true, or do you try and find someone who's a disruptor and a bit of an X factor? But anyway, we'll find that out after the next 4 quarters here at Renmark.
We certainly will. We're about to get underway. It's the second semi-final between the Renmark Rovers and the Loxton North Panthers. For the winner today, it's straight into the grand final. The loser, it's a second chance, but it's a game you don't want to play. Siren sounds. Umpire Tony Florence throws the ball up in the air for game number 700. No one able to get the clear advantage thus far, and we'll have another stoppage not far from the first one, Nobby Norton.
And we have Loxton North King to the club room ends, Ben, and Renmark going to the hospital end.
Yep, so trying to get away here for Loxton North, but it's only going to go as far as Dan Warford. So Rovers with the first clear possession of the footy here. Dan's got it just outside of their back 50. Going to try and switch it wide to the wing, looking for Declan Johnson in the short sleeves there. Sunny afternoon, Nobby, as we've said, and they're just going to try and reload through Trevor Thorpe now.
Hey, boys, interesting positional move out there by the Panthers. Judge Sherpick starting deep forward. I'm wondering if he's sitting up there to perhaps go up and man up Gartery when Gartery drops a kick behind the play.
Here we go, the Panthers with the turnover. They move towards centre half forward. Can they make their first inside 50? The ball spills out. It hasn't gone too far just yet. The Panthers still looking hungry for the footy. They dive on it and hold it in just on the forward flank here at Renmark this afternoon. A lot of traffic on the eastern side of the oval so far. Maybe it's a little bit flatter, Nobby.
Yep, it is. And Ben, what are you thinking of? You see that move with Sherpick deep in the forward lines, something we haven't seen. Obviously, they're going to keep their ruckman on field, perhaps change Hampel up there as well, try and keep the Renmark big men honest.
Well, yeah, it speaks to the weapons that Renmark have got, really, doesn't it? You've seen in the last couple of weeks, Alex Haynes has taken most of the load in the ruck, but, we know what Gartery can do. He's, a perennial team of the year guy. So, yeah, definitely, worth changing things up for North because it definitely didn't work last week.
Yeah, it looks also that Scott Lewis has got a run with player there with him as well. Can't quite pick up who it is. It is Morgan Edwards running with him.
So it's Loxton North now with the footy on the eastern wing. Mark from Ryan Proud, having a somewhat of a renaissance season back into the A grade.
He did some good work upfield last week too, not just in the forward 50. He worked up the field quite a bit and got plenty of it. And here he goes again.
Sucks the Renmark player in and goes around himself, kicks up to half forward, but intercept mark from Harry Beavers from the Renmark Rovers, who goes on the quick switch. It's a loose footy though. Great pick up from Angus Shapley. Handballs to Coney. Coney kicks into the inside, attacking 50, and a great mark
and
from
here
Loxton
he is.
North.
Here he is, Ben.
That's Judge Sherpick.
As sort of predicted, Judge Sherpick playing forward's taken a nice mark, Ben.
You've called it, Nobby. It's probably not a bad idea because Brodie Rover, who's lining up on them now, aside from him, they don't really have too many tall defenders that they've got. So maybe just an idea to stretch Renmark in the height department up forward.
Sherpick having a shot for goal and hits the post, hits the upright on the left. Gee whiz, that was probably not that difficult a shot, Ben Lennon.
You probably you want to be kicking that for sure, especially to get them on the board. But point to point, mate. So they're on the board in some respect, but Renmark going to get a chance through Morgan Edwards here, out in the far flank, kicks it in front of the scoreboard. There's a couple of one-on-ones here. Jack Austin leads the race to the ball, but it's going to spill out over the line and out of play.
Yep, good match up there with Jack Opes, the Jack and Jack show on the far wing. The sun's out so far this afternoon at Renmark, still early stages. The Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard just one behind to the visiting Loxton North Panthers. It's a lot closer than it was this time last week. It's still early days. Renmark now with the clearance out of the stoppage. They move the ball up to centre half forward, but Loxton North get their hands on it. Oh, no, they don't. It's a loose footy. Great dive and great desperation there from Rowe.
There he is, Ben Lennon. He's my wild card for Renmark.
Like a bit of
Jared Rowe.
A bit of X factor.
Yeah, he's hard at it.
He is. And he was important last week. I think he kicked a few and he's been in good form coming into the finals, which is what you want. But looks like we're going to have another ball up here. So the ball just sort of held up around the Renmark 450 at the moment. Neither team really able to make too many inroads forward.
So another stoppage just outside the Rovers, attacking 50. They get it inside now. Great kick in.
It was Tim Wolford driving that
no
forward.
one able to mark it. Spills over the back. And Loxton North get out of jail. And look at this. Jack Opes takes a bounce. Tackled. That'll be holding the ball, and it is every day of the week. And the Rovers get their first shot.
I mean, Jack Opes always looks a little bit laconic with the ball, but to take a bounce is sort of slowing it down yet another gear, Ben.
Tell you what, if you've got Dane Austin within 50 metres of you, you want to be getting rid of the footy pretty quickly. So he's going to have a shot on goal here. But just wonder about the voice there. I'm not sure if anyone told him how hot he was.
Yeah, true. And, okay, my bet is that's the last time he does that today.
I think it's probably a safe one.
Yeah, nice. A sharp shot at goal here from Dane Austin on his left foot, but he's swept right across, and
they've found
a Renmark player on the other side who is off and playing on.
Yeah, that was Brown. Harrison kicks back, finds Matt Wolford. The ball's gone back down to their 50-metre arc.
I'm thinking,
so they've lost about 35 metres there.
I'm thinking he's a chance from here, Ben. What are you thinking?
He kicked the first one last week, so he might be keen to repeat that. I'm not sure. He doesn't look like he's got the legs. Looking to pass off is Woolley. He's just chipped it about 25 metres out. Big fly from a pack. No one really able to get the footy. It's like North are going to try and move it away. There's Tyson Kent. Feeds it out to Dylan Eleftheriadis. It's a big booming kick out towards Ryan Proud on the far wing. So the Panthers going forward now, Lockie.
Handball's over the top. Finds a loose player. That's Kai Filkey. He tries to kick it when he was tackled by the Guernsey. It's a loose footy. Umpire says play on. Renmark kicking backwards here. It's a loose footy in the Panthers' pocket, but there's no Panthers home.
Gee whiz, I thought he was having a shot at goal there, but he was looking for his defending teammate in the back pocket. That ball comes out from Thomas Austin, who finds Gardery at the wing. Ben, he's a key player for him, Zach Gardery.
Yeah. I think every opposition team worries about Big Harry when they come in to play against Renmark's A-grade, but just a lot of work around the ground from the big man. You expect a lot of that today. Matt Wolford with the ball in his hands now. We're going to try and switch the play out a bit, and it's Wolford to Wolford. I'm sure we'll call that a few times today. Tim with the footy now, goes inside 50, tries to find Alex Haynes on the lead, just short of Big Smoke. So North scrambled to get a bit of a stoppage here, just inside Renmark's 450.
Boys, I had a pasty while Kim Wolford was having a hamburger this morning, the father of the three Wolford boys. Had a good chat to him about the weather and over in the farmland, but also about his three boys.
What'd you make of the pasty?
Pasties are always good up here. They're Paringa pasties. Just the right amount of sauce too.
If you really wanted to get some footy clubs doing something, there's another Wolford brother as well. But I've heard from all reports he's quite a good farmer.
Yeah, well, I was talking to a Wolford father.
But team man, that's where it comes apparently, back home. B-grade team manager, most important job in the club.
Here he goes,
Football
Alec Kudra on the wing.
Loxton North now on the attack. Kudra picks it up. He's under a lot of pressure and finds Scott Lewis in the middle. So the Panthers are on again. Moves it on quickly, finds the target, and Sherpy can't mark it, drills it forward.
I reckon he was looking into the sun then, boys.
Gets a handball away, and this is where the Rovers can be dangerous, getting it off half back, and they've done it again. Lellman boots it out of there, kicks up the ground. And then Vader, the coach of the Renmark Rovers, gets a handball wide. They're looking dangerous here. Kicks into the attacking 50. Can the Rovers make something out of this? No one able to mark it. Handball's out the back. Panther defence working overtime. Umpire's seen something, and the Panthers are going to get the free.
Ben, a much better start from the Loxton North Panthers today.
Well, you saw those two key ins, as we spoke about before, combining then Kudra taking on a couple of players on the wing and switching it to Scotty Lewis in the middle. So they're going to play a big part today for the Panthers.
Yep. I think it might be Panthers' biggest problem might be turning the ball over to the Rovers, which is what happened then.
They're going to pay for it here because it's Declan Johnson. He's just taken a borderline uncontested mark about 30 out, and he's a good kick of the footy, Decky. I'd back him in to go through. Yeah, go back and kick this.
With 5 goals last week, the train rolls on.
Bit of a breakout game for Declan. He's had to do it hard in the twos for the last couple of years and really found his feet in the A-grade this year, so this will be a good way to start for Renmark.
He's kind of filled the gap left by Nathan Zunic very, very quickly and very well.
Ball on the way. 45 out, doesn't matter because he's slotted it. And the Rovers kick the first goal of the day on the Aquatic Week Control Australia scoreboard. They lead by 5.
Yeah, look, a good start from Loxton North, just the same, Ben and Lockie. And look, you saw the class, the ball coming from Kudra to Lewis to Ryan Proud, a long way out of goals. Maybe, I reckon he was looking into the sun, but maybe a Judge Sherpick just reeled that ball in. It might have, it was almost like one missed this end, one the other end.
Well, this is finals footy, mate. You got to take your chances when you get them, and they're going to need to be on it all day. So, yeah, I think you might be right. I reckon the sun could have played a bit of a part there. We'll let Judd off on that one.
Oh, I will, and he started off very good, and it's been a great move by the Panthers to start him deep forward.
So ball up back in the centre. Gartree gets the tap on it. Rowe couldn't pick it up off the cricket pitch. Now the Panthers managed to pick it up and they kick towards half forward. Spills over the back into the 50. Thomas Austin juggles it, but he couldn't pick it up either. Ball travelling towards the Panthers' goal through the Rovers, however, and they managed to boot it wide and find Beavis. He kicks it up the eastern flank. Now it's Wolford again. Now it's found the scoreboard on the eastern side.
Nice ball movement.
That's Kel Morath. Morath with the footy. Small kick over the top, looks for a target. Great mark from the 37 of Jack Austin. Just switches it inside, finds Dane Austin. A bit of Wolford to Wolford, a bit of Austin to Austin so far today. Booming kick up to centre half forward. And that's a great mark from Alex Haynes.
That was an enormous kick. That would have covered 55 metres off a step.
Yeah. From the distance, it looked like the Loxton North player might have got a little bit of help under the ball, but the umpire was right on the spot, Ben, and he figured that was fair enough in a marking contest, and it was a good mark from the big fella.
So Austin's going to go back for shot here. He's going to be kicking from, I'm going to say, 40. It wouldn't be 45. It'd be 42, 43, right? Because we're accurate here at 5 round football. This is well within his range. In fact, this one might even go over the shed over the back, and it has.
That's the second goal for Renmark on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. Takes them to 2 goals, 0-12 to Loxton North 1 point. Early lead. You're thinking the score's looking a bit like it was this time last week, Ben, but the play's not.
Well, this is the problem that North are going to face, right? So they've obviously known that, last week didn't mean too much, but just the mental scars of being smacked by 70 points and then having to play the same team a week later, they're going to be looking at this scoreboard and thinking, geez, this was the same as last week. So, a good start for Alex Haynes down at full forward. We've seen him play a lot of ruck in the last couple of weeks, but Big Harry's back in there, and Haynes is more than a valuable target up forward, I think, for the Rovers. Just too big and too strong.
I don't reckon he'll be leaving the forward 50 for a while. There's Gartery to Tim Wolford to Jared Rowe. The ball goes forward, but cut out by Adam Wesley at half-back for Loxton North.
It's an important kick. Takes it up the eastern flank. Good mark. That's Vumart, the captain of the Loxton North side. Small kick over the top. Finds Mason Eckerman. He was another player missing last week, Nobby Norton, that we missed. Small kicks over the top. Didn't hit the target. This is where the Rovers can be dangerous. And once again, off half-back, they've picked up the crumbs and they go on the rebound.
Thorpe drives the ball forward to Jenke, Ben.
We've seen that a few times today, that mop up off half-back, and this is where they can be very dangerous in attack. Ball now at centre half forward, but Josh Nelson for the Panthers, he got his hands on it and was taken a bit high, but umpire says my footy will have a ball up.
Felt every bit of Alex Haynes there. So Renmark with a good chance here. The ball up just outside the forward 50. Tim Wolford gets a kick away, so it's going to go inside 50. There's a one-on-one in the pocket. Now there's a few more players surrounding the footy, but I believe there's been a whistle, and Loxton North are going to come away with a free kick there. So a bit of respite for the Panthers.
Yeah, they're not. Renmark have started off where they finished around the contest ball, Ben.
This is it. This is the momentum that we talk about. And every coach in the last couple of weeks has spoken about you want to be playing the right kind of footy coming into finals. And Renmark have carried through their form from last week and looking the goods early on. So
kick up, straight up the field. This is where Loxton North have been dangerous this year. Mason Eckerman gets his hands on it, handballed, but it found the hands of Renmark player in Tim Wolford. It's got its way to Harrison Brown on the far flank. Runs over the painted 50, kicks to the goal square, punch forward from Opes, the defender from Loxton North, but it spills forward, and Renmark could make it number 3. It's found Jared Rowe. Jared Rowe, a booming snap kick, but it's a minor score.
Coach Vader throwing that extra handball to throw the ball out to Rowe. I think he probably could have had a crack himself, Ben.
Yeah, he's an unselfish player, is Josh.
Yeah.
But look, worrying signs for North early, you've got to say. I mean, most of the ball has been sort of played inside Renmark's forward half, and they're a fit side, Renmark, so you really want to be with them from word go, because they can run over top of you. But Loxton North, by that same token, that's been one of their strengths this year as well.
Yeah, they just got to find some space with the ball.
So Josh Nelson, the former captain of the side, takes the kick out, finds Wesley at centre half back.
Here we go, Lewis all on his own on the wing, but it won't get to him. It goes to Kudra first.
Kudra on the attack for Loxton North. Has a bounce, has a second. Smother there from Tyson Ken. Umpire said it was a bit more than a smother, and they're going to get the free kick. Ball's got to go back.
Loxton North seem a little bit intent on the body at the moment rather than the ball.
It's a pretty physical affair out there. So Dan Wolford with the footy on back flank brings it grandstand side and finds Trevor Thorpe from the Rovers.
No, it's Harrison Brown.
Oh, it is too.
Gee,
It
there's
is
a fair
too.
old age gap between those two.
Well, if you saw Trevor Thorpe 15, 20 years ago, they'd look the same, all right?
Thorpe would be happy with that.
He hates being called a veteran, Thorpe. I'm informed and very good authority.
Well, that's a shame. He's also played about 20 years ago.
Very
Loxton
much a
North
veteran.
bring the ball back out of half back again. Look, they're trying to play on, but playing on into trouble there. And Kai Filkey wrapped up by two Rovers players, and the free kick will go to any one of them. They're just trying to ruffle it at the moment.
I think Dane Austin's come up with the footy, but you're right. There's about 4 heads floating around there that wouldn't mind this shot on goal. But a bit of a chance for redemption.
Yeah.
That for Dane here. He sprayed one across the face before. This one's a bit of a straighter angle, but a little bit further out.
Straight out in front, 30 metres in front. The left footer will have a go. Should he put this through? It's starting to look a bit like last week.
So Dane Austin with the footy. He'll be kicking from 40 out, almost directly in front. It doesn't matter. Ball on the way. He's got the distance. He's happy, and that's goal number 3 for the Rovers.
Tell you what, boys, when you see the goal umpire look straight up over the top of his head and that cap goes straight up, you know it's a goal.
That's when you know.
Yep. Ben, obviously Renmark have started well. What can Loxton North do to quell this other than win the ball out of the middle?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the key, because as soon as you... And also the clean entry sort of going forward. We've seen them get to sort of the wing or half of flank, but as soon as you turn it over against Renmark, they're so good at using the ball the other way, and they're so fit and quick. It's hard to stop them.
They got no one running through that half-forward line. Whereas you look at the Renmark end of the ground, if the ball goes into half-forward, there's 2 or 3 options running through.
And there's a luxury with Renmark. A few of those guys are the bigger bodies of your Austins and stuff like that, but then they've got the little fellas as well to run around. So it's a pretty good mix, and it's looking pretty dangerous for Renmark up forward at the moment.
3-1-19, the Rovers plays Loxton North, this one behind, and they get the clearance, but it's mopped up by Shapley from the Panthers, gets it to Hampel, the ruckman. He boots it forward, but good pick up from Thomas Austin.
This time it was Trevor Thorpe.
Yeah, and the Rovers now go on the attack again. They kick it up to the 50-metre arc. Panther defence working overtime. Beswick gets it out of there, gets a handball to Shapley, probably one of the Panthers' better players so far. Finds Wesley. Wesley brings it inboard. Doesn't hit a target, but finds Scott Lewis back in the side today for the Panthers. Umpire says,
hang on.
Free kick for holding on. I think a lot of people thought that may have been holding the ball.
Well, fellas, the umpire did get the free kick, but he got the second one, not the first one.
I hope you've got the crowd mic just on quick release
hot
there, Lockie.
on the button.
The
I'm hot on it.
The first call was holding the ball, and then the second call was holding the man if you missed the holding the ball.
Yeah,
but never
regardless, Scotty Lewis got the footy, big left foot kick, trying to go inside 50 for the Panthers. Not a lot of targets up forward, though, must be said. Not a lot of movement.
Punch forward from Dylan Elthiriadis has found Gartrey for the Rovers, who's deep in defence. Handballed it to Thorpe. He missed it.
He got a lovely recovery, though.
Quick kick out. And the Rovers, no matter how much pressure they're under, seem to get out of jail once again.
A risky kick by Morgan Edwards through the middle of the ground. Tried to switch the play, but it was cut off by a Panther player. Scotty Lewis has got the footy now again. He's turned his back on goal here, about 60 metres out. Now lowers the eyes.
Small kick finds Josh Nelson. He's a long way from home.
He'll need 2 kicks to make the goals from there.
So Josh Nelson for Loxton North. Very important kick in this first quarter. They trail by 3 goals.
Harry Beavis wearing Ryan Proud like a glove at the moment.
Nelson kicks it on the way. It's found the goal square. No one able to mark it.
Sherpick hands to it, but couldn't reel it in. Look, that move's been a good move by the Panthers, but unfortunately not quite paying dividends yet.
No, I think just the nature of the forward entries hasn't quite been there for Judd to take full advantage. He's had 1 uncontested mark and he goes back and kicks a point. The rest has been pretty scrappy.
Yep. Tim Wolford from half back for Renmark shoots the ball wide to the wing, finds... I reckon that might have been Kel Marath out there.
Dan Wolford with the footy now has done a 360 in the tackle with its play on.
A handball and a big bump. Doesn't go too far, and umpire says push in the back. Right, North are going to get the free kick here.
There's a bit in this one early, Lockie, but it looks a bit of feeling in it.
Yeah, May Seckerman with the footy. This is 5am football. The Aquatic Week Control Australia's scoreboard. 19 playing 2. The Rovers with the advantage.
Yep. Time ticking away on the Murray Pest Control clock too, Lockie, in the first quarter that's been lively from the first bounce.
Vader now. No, it is Vader. Vader with the football, runs through a lot of traffic. Oh, this is Central District's 2011 spec, Josh Vader here.
Now we're talking.
Yep.
Goal of the day.
Lelman, who takes the handball from Vader, shoots the ball forward, but high. But the Renmark player, which was Vader, got a high check. He's at a half forward for Renmark, Josh Vader.
The Rovers working their rotations. Vader with the football. 80 from home. Kicks to the pocket. Jackson was the target, but he couldn't get there. The Panthers get a soccer on it. They take it out of bounds. No, he stays in board and finds Jared Rowe again. Doesn't matter where he's playing. He's a ball magnet. Gets it to Vader. Vader sinks it long in attack. No one from the Panthers could mark it. They all went up. Ball spills out the back. Soccer off the deck.
Off the ground. That was Declan Johnson, yes. And so far, boys, I'm reckon that one is the leader in the surf-to-seat Loxton goal of the day.
Matilda's play tonight. I reckon Decky's come a little bit early there.
Yes, and that's his second goal and Renmark's fourth, which takes him to 4-1-25 to Loxton North, 2 points on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. Gee whiz, you'd be thinking any more than 4 goals behind at quarter time, and I'm not going to call it that early, Ben.
Well, I hope not.
But it's a hard task for Loxton North to wrestle the game back, but not beyond them.
Saying that, Nobby, one of the best games we saw this year at Loxton North between these two sides, we saw both teams in that game have a lead of 3 or 4 goals multiple times.
Yep.
And it was probably one of the best games we've seen this year.
I'm hearing you, Lockie.
North that ran over top of them.
And saying that, Loxton North need the next one. Oh, umpire's seen something. They're going to get a free. Play on advantage is the call. Kent kicks it long into attack.
Almost.
Coney couldn't mark it. Tries to crumb the footy. There's too many hands on the footy. No one wants it enough.
Gee, he was looking for the Growers Services Riverland mark of the day there.
Yeah, no, I reckon he would have had it had he held on to it.
And those sort of those marks have got to start sticking, don't they, Ben?
Yeah, well, that's it. It's the little 1%ers they got to get right here because it's not working for him at the moment. Brody Rover with a quick kick out. It's a bit of a mismatch height-wise, but Harrison Brown judges it better than Hampel, gives a quick hands to Lockie Lelman, who's going to try and just switch it out to the far side. Declan Johnson, I think it is out there as the target. Ball spills back into dispute. Josh Vader there for the Rovers. Looks like it might be another ball up. No, the Renmark coach has managed to battle his way out of about 3 tackles there, and they're going to go inside 50 through Dan Wolford.
Oh,
tricky one to pick up.
Couldn't mark it.
Liam
Jackson off the deck. Hungry for a goal as always, and that's a out of bounds. It is. Not even a minor score.
He's the X factor, Liam Jackson, in that forward line, isn't he?
Yeah, and he'll tell you that. Well, Liam. No, he's been good coming in the last couple of weeks for the Rovers. 6 goals in 2 games, so in red-hot form. Makes it interesting with Zunic coming back soon, Nobby.
Yes. Is there room for 3 small forwards? I guess there is if they're all kicking goals.
The Rovers now get the rebound off the kick out. Kent off halfback. Handball sideways. Finds Dylan Elthiriadis. He kicks it to the centre square. No one able to mark it out of the back of the pack.
This is better from North when they come up the middle. I know you run the risk because that's Renmark's turf, but you've got to take them on.
Couple of quick handballs and the Rovers have managed to get their hands on it. Harry Beavers kicks up the line, finds a target, handball to Lelman, or handball from Lelman. Another series of handballs. There's Tim Wolford. Back to Trevor Thorpe. Trevor Thorpe out of the centre square, boots it long. Will this roll home for a goal? Finds Jared Rowe, picked it up out of the pocket off the one bounce.
I think the Renmark veteran found himself in unfamiliar territory there, Ben Lennon.
The altitude sickness. Yeah, he's definitely up pretty high. I reckon he lowered his eyes for a pass and then he thought, I might have a crack at this.
Yeah, and ended up kicking a helicopter.
A ball up in the pocket, punched over the line, and Loxton North get out of that one.
I think it was more Trevor Thorpe entering a 50 rather than leaving one.
Yeah, correct.
Might have been the problem for him.
Well, it looks like there's going to be a free kick. Declan Johnson's walking around with the footy. So the umpire must have seen something there, whether it was a last touch. Lockie on the
I think it was, yeah.
Well, I thought it was just punched over the line. Ball's on the way.
Umpire
He's happy. That's another goal.
Likes that. And I tell you what, fellas, that's Declan Johnson's 3rd goal for the day. And that's usurped his previous entry into the goal of the day for the surf-to-seat Loxton goal of the day.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a handle on him pretty quickly. We saw the damage he did last week to the same side, so North should be well aware of that. They'll need to stop him as quick as they can because 3 goals in 1 quarter and 5 overall for the Rovers. It's a fast start.
5-1-31 playing 2 points only, Loxton North. A 29-point lead on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard.
Scoreboard a fair reflection of how the game's been played at the moment, Nobby?
I think so. I think, you know what it is? It's a reflection into, firstly, how much possession of Renmark have had, and secondly, how well they've used the ball in their forward half.
Umpire's seen something here. I think someone's going to get a free kick. There's too many Maybe too many players in the square. No, they've just told him to get out. All right, they're going to go again. Ball up. Gartrey takes the tap, unopposed. Punches it long, but it's picked up on half-back from Loxton North.
Oh, wow.
That's now a booming kick to the painted forward 50.
That was Jack Oates streaming through half-back there and onto the left foot. Finds Judge Sherbick, who looks up. Now, that would be the best passage of play into the Loxton North forward lines to date.
And that's Ethan Wagner that's taken the mark, a late-season revelation for the Panthers.
Tell me a bit about him, Lockie. What does he bring in?
He's been a bit injured this year, played a bit in Adelaide.
Talking about injured players, fellas, I just see Mitch Hahn stagger past us with a bandage on his left calf.
Siren sounds in the Murray Pest Control clock. Ball on the way from Wagner, but that is didn't even make the distance.
So quarter time scores here at Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard at 5RM Riverland Football has Renmark 5 goals, 131, leading Loxton North 2 points only, a 29-point lead to the Rovers in the first quarter of the second semi-final.
Yep, it's all at Renmark so far. Let's throw back to the Sideline View studio and find out what is going on with Trevor Scott. Trevor, what have you got? Yep, it was all one-way traffic. Loxton North had a couple of inside 50s, but unable to capitalise. Still teams listening to their respective coaches. A lot of supporters here at Renmark today. Ben Lennon is with me this afternoon, as well as Nobby Norton. We've sent Nobby out on an assignment to the quarter-time address. Ben, your thoughts so far?
I think it's, as Nobby said before, mate, the scoreboard's probably a fair reflection of where they're at the moment. Renmark just with all the play for most of that quarter. We saw a late 4A forward from Loxton North, but nothing really doing forward of centre for the Panthers. A little bit of worrying signs early on. It
certainly is. Look, Loxton North coach Terry Eleftheriadis, I wonder what his message would be at the moment. We might be able to get Nobby, who's just been to the huddle. Nobby, what are you hearing? Oh, we can't quite hear you there, Nobby. You might want to flick that little switch up a little bit more, maybe.
It's up, Lockie. And look, a lot of message from Terry Eleftheriadis there, mostly around how they're playing in a bit of system, how they're giving the ball back too soon to Renmark, and how they're bringing it out of defence. Probably taking it too in his eyes. So it'll be interesting to see how it's taking a lot of time explaining how he wants them to play.
Certainly is. Nobby, your work, as always, some of the finest. Renmark already back in their position. So to me, that is always a solid indication of a team that is well drilled, well prepared, and certainly not panicking.
Yes, certainly is, Lockie, and there's nothing that you need to change there at Renmark other than kicking another 5 goals this quarter.
Yep, it's certainly going to be a big quarter, that's for sure. It could make or break Loxton North's prelim finals, or their prelim final chances. Certainly could shore up Renmark. That is a given. Ben, your thoughts so far? Look, let's talk on some of the positives from Loxton North. What did you see?
Well, I think they're still willing to take the game on, which is good. It means that their heads haven't dropped necessarily at all. Like you said, maybe looking to move the ball too quickly, but you know their game style all year has been to run and gun, and they've got the players to do it. So they're just going to back themselves in, which fair enough. They won enough games to get second spot, almost first for the home and away ladder. So they need to back themselves in. But yeah, perhaps maybe just being a little bit more considered when they've got ball in hand.
Yep, ball back in the centre now. Loxton North just taking their positions. Look, mark of the day for Grower Services Riverland. I'm going to call it. There probably wasn't too many specky marks in that opening quarter, and nothing really to write home about. But young Coney probably had a good attempt at the Grower Services mark of the day, but nonetheless didn't stick, did it, Nobby?
No, it didn't, fellas. And look, I'm really, after listening to Coach Leftheriadis there, and look, he was pretty calm, but the message was hurried, and there was a fair bit in the message. So it'll be interesting to see how the Panthers respond. Certainly
will be. Ball back in the centre. Second quarter underway on the Murray Pest Control clock. It's Loxton North that don't get their hands on it. They almost did. Josh Vader dived on it as well. And we're going to have another stoppage not far from the centre circle.
Yeah, so need a quick reply here, North. Need to get the first one on the board. If Renmark goes 6 goals in front in the second quarter, it's not going to be looking good. But it's the Rovers that go forward first. Declan Johnson, clean pick-up, goes past one, gets the handball off to Jack Austin, turns around, snap, right foot, about 45 metres out. He's got a bit of purchase on that.
Holy dooly, boys.
Almost got home, over the head of Alex Haynes and through for a behind.
That went all of 50 metres, and look, I'd say, well, actually there's no wind here today, so it's not favouring either end, so big fella like him and the big kick.
Yeah, pretty good connection there. North trying to go right down the centre of the ground from the kick out. It's just managed to work out. Coda Vumard, the skipper, has taken the mark potentially, or it looks like the umpire's going to ball it up. So off hands it was called. So ball up just inside 50 for the Rovers.
Yep, not enough time in the hands, it would appear. Matt Hampel, the ruckman for Loxton North, plucks it out of the sky, bombs it away. Loose footy. Mason Eckerman tried to pick it up, but it was picked up first by the Rovers. Holding the ball, they've said. So Mason Eckerman's going to get the free kick on the back flank. Grandstand side.
Quick call from the umpire.
Yeah, I think it was more incorrect disposal, fellas.
Takes it up the guts, but Lellman boots it. He's been a bit inspired by the Matildas this week. It was a bit of a Sam Kerr spec shot on goal, that one. Not that was a goal here at Renmark, just the kicking style. So a stoppage, scoreboard side at Renmark, 5-room football, second semi-final. Go again. Good tap from Loxton North. Shapley picks up the crumbs. 9-iron kick to nowhere, though. Both teams running for it. The boundary stays inboard. Working its way towards the Panther goal, but we're going to have another stoppage. And you've got to say Loxton North in this early stage, you're just holding it up a little bit more than last quarter, but only just.
It's hard because you don't want to go away from your strengths, which is, running and getting it out wide to Kudra and the likes of him and Lewis and you strong ball handlers. But, yeah, there's a happy medium that Lefty's going to need to find in this quarter for sure.
Yeah, I think, boys, maybe it's a quarter where they just try and slow things down a little and just try and put your finger in the dike and be able to get to half-time no worse off than they are at quarter-time.
So a ball up doesn't go too far, and North supporters calling for holding the ball. It certainly wasn't.
I think...
they have to, right, okay.
Not to pull the rug out, Lockie, but I reckon...
Right. Oh, they also up. Oh, no, no one marked it. It was young Wooldridge that tried to mark that. That was a mark of the day contender if it stuck. Grower Services Riverland. Scott Lewis bombs it into the attacking 50, but great intercept from the Renmark Rovers, and I reckon that's Kel Morath.
It's Lockie Lellman.
It is too, Lellman again.
Clean pick-up as well, but not a clean kick. It's set a bit of a task for Jarrah. It's being hunted by Adam Wesley, but manages to get the footy away, and it's come into the hands of Dane Austin. Dane streaming inside 50, bit of a grabber. Hasn't given Alex Haynes the best chance. He's in a bit of a tussle, but Declan Johnson's found himself acres of space, runs into an open goal, check side, and that is Declan Johnson's 4th goal in a quarter and about 5 minutes. He's absolutely tearing this game apart for the Rovers, and they get the first one of the second quarter, Lockie.
Yeah, I cannot believe that after kicking 3 goals in the first quarter, following 5 against you the week before, how there wouldn't be someone wearing him like a second jumper.
It's tricky with this Renmark side. It's hard to know who to go to, but certainly, if you kick 3 goals in the first and 5 the week before, you'd think, a bit more attention there. He had about 15 metres free around him to kick that goal.
Yeah.
So
the other interesting thing about the Rovers, and you saw it where Dane Austin worked off that pack, you can take the chance, run forward, because you're 5 up.
So ball up back in the centre. Good pick up from Vader. He was handballing when he was tackled. Finds Wolford. Wolford gave it up quickly. We've got an injured player on the deck as well, and I reckon that is Josh Vader taking a bit of time to get up.
Holding his head a little bit, I think. He might just be a bit rough.
Kick up to...
The veteran Trevor Thorpe takes the mark at centre-half back for Renmark and shoots it out with a 9-iron to half-back that gets Gartery.
Finds Gartery. Just decides against playing on. Holds station for a sec. Small kick up the line. Finds the 21 of Dan Wolford. Now in front of the scoreboard at Renmark. 5 in football. Murray Pest Control clock ticking away. Still early stages in this second quarter.
Yep, Dane Austin shoots the handball back to Dan Wolford, who's going to send him inside 50. Kick to no one in particular. Alex Haynes is around the mark, as is Jack Austin. Haynes picks up the footy, looks inboard, finds Matt Wolford, normally a good user of the ball. Kicks close to the goal. Jared Rose, the target. Turns his player inside out.
Who do you reckon's going to end up with this, fellas?
Oh.
I'm thinking a bloke called Declan Johnson will end up on the end of this.
Gets a couple of quick handballs from Kent and Vumard, and they managed to get it out of there. Caleb Coney running onto the football for Loxton North. He slipped on the slippery deck at Renmark and gets around a couple of players. Maybe he's got the long stops in. Nobby Norton kicked up and looked for young Zach Woodridge, but he couldn't mark it.
Now there's a player North could do with a bit more out of, I think, Zach Woodridge.
Tackled over the line from Coney. He's putting a bit of fight in this afternoon, and there's a little bit of feeling out there still, Nobby, from last week.
Look at that, though, fellas. 5 Rovers players, 2 Panthers. Does that tell you what's going on out there?
Yeah, it tells the tale a little bit, but, Coney looked really good then. That was a slick bit of play to get past a couple of Rovers. So, showing a bit of fight here, the Panthers, but Renmark still have all the answers for now. Tim Wolford gets the footy, shoots a handball out. Morgan Edwards tries to go inboard, misses his coach.
Trouble.
And Alec Kudra, the key in for this week.
He'll want this back.
And he's going to get it. He's running inside 50. No one from the Rovers is going to catch him. Kudra gets a shot on goal. High drop punt just to the left-hand side.
Fellas, if that had gone through, that would have been surf-to-seat Loxton goal of the day, but it's surf-to-seat point of the day, I think.
Minor score, and the Rovers waste no time in kicking it out. It's footy on half-back. Small kick back inboard. Finds Trevor Thorpe on the run. This is where the veterans lift in finals footy. Kicks into the centre square. It's loose kick, though. It's Scott Lewis from Loxton North. He fell over the full, tripped over the Rover player. Kent got a hand on it. He tried to get it away, but now it's on the rebound through Wolford, and that's Tim. Now it's in the attacking 50 for the Rovers. Alex Haynes trying to shark the footy and pick it up. Bombs it off the deck. It's an ugly kick, but it's going to make it.
It's come down with rain on it.
Yep.
Nobby.
It did. I think it might have been a little bit of sleet or snow. Looking at some of the matchups, Cody Vumard on Declan Johnson. Not sure about that. Cody tends to drift off and try and take intercept marks.
He gives you so much going the other way, and clearly it's hurting the Panthers at the moment. So I'm not sure who you send to Declan.
I do. I'd have Adam Wesley on him and just say you take him and wear him, and rough him up a bit.
So ball back in the centre. Loxton North try to run onto it. Alec Kudra manages to pick it up again. He's lifted a bit this quarter. Dodges around one Rover player. Kicks up. Finds Zach Woolley from Loxton North. And just holds station and turns around, and he's going to have a shot on goal. And this is a very important kick for Loxton North.
As predicted, Ben, he's the bloke that's going to have to lift them, both of those blokes. Kudra, who's lifted his work rate, got a bit of space.
That's twice now that he's been streaming through the middle of the ground.
And here's the fella that's going to have to help him put it on the scoreboard.
Well, he had so much red-hot form in the first half of the year and then copped an injury. So, Aldridge now.
Oh, lovely kick of the ball.
Looks good off the boot.
Yes. And there's Loxton North's first goal. Takes them to 1-2-8, trailing Renmark 6-2-38. 5 goals behind on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. But that's not a bad effort by the Panthers. We saw what they can do when they break in the open and get the ball out there.
Yeah, this is what they're good at, that run and gun, and Kudra's at the heart of that. So he hits up a target, and all of a sudden they're on the board and a little bit of momentum. They need to capitalise on this now. They're going to need to pull 2 or 3 back because Renmark are going to run the game out well.
Interesting player, Alec Kudra. Runs that fast, he runs too fast to bounce. He'd rather do the 1-2 with a handball to get his 15 metres extra. Whatever
works, Nobby.
Yep. But, a much better effort. And you'd be thinking, what were they, how many points down at quarter time?
4 goals.
5 goals. They were 29 points down. They got to go in less than that at half time to be back in the game.
Yep, got to start making some inroads.
They've got to win the quarter. That's what they've got to do.
So ball up. A 0-0 draw with the ruck contest, but it's Gartrey that manages to pick it up off the deck. A couple of quick handballs, finds Matt Wolford, kicks up to the forward 50, not quite over it yet. The Rovers working hard. Jared Rowe trying to shark the footy. He was hunted down by some Panthers and it wobbles over the line, and we'll have a ball in where the 50-metre arc
Gee, that's a
the
good
boundary.
contest between Rowe and Wesley.
I'm sure there is a term for that point where those two lines meet, Nobby, but it's been a long time since I've done any...
That would be an intersect, I think.
Intersect, all right. We'll call that. Yep, that sounds good. The ball's now on the other pocket. Declan Johnson off the deck. We another one? No.
Geez, he was up for that too.
I'll tell you what, fellas. Terry Leftheriadis, I mean, even though he's kicked a point, you've got to be thinking to yourself, that is now... I reckon that's 4 goals, 2 or 3 for Declan Johnson. 7 shots at goal.
I think what we're seeing, Nobby, is it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
He's an elusive sort of player, and with so many weapons around him, it's hard to get that balance right.
Nice kick in from Josh Nelson, but who should cut it out? Inspector Gadget himself.
Jared Rowe is the man, and he plays on quickly, shoots it out wide. They're not really gaining too many metres there, but the left foot of Dane Austin
is
going to have
perfect
a shot here.
spot, Ben. 45 degrees on the right side for a left footer, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. So Dane Austin, a 45-degree angle, you're calling it, Nobby?
Yep. This would be Loxton North giving back that goal way too quickly.
This would be a big blow.
Yep.
Kicking from 35 out, maybe 40, depending on what measurement system you're under. Ball's on the way. Doesn't matter how many metres because he's slotted it.
That's his second goal for the day, and Renmark's 7th takes them to 7-3-45 to Loxton 1-2-8 on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. Ben, come back way too quick for him, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. That'll hurt big time as Dane Austin comes off for a rest here just to be replaced by Lockie Wellman.
It's the old AFL move, kick a goal and get off straight away.
I think he's earned to. He's probably been the best player for Renmark in this opening quarter and a half of footy. He's such a hard matchup. He's so big and strong.
You're looking over my
fast.
shoulder at my list where I've got the ticks next to him. No, I've got the ticks next to him. I thought...
Well, he's kicked 2 and had 10, so it's hardly a big call, mate.
Yeah, and interesting that Lockie Wellman replaced him because he's high up in the best players too and gets a go up forward.
Yeah, he's a dangerous player.
Yeah, good tap from Hampel from Loxton North in the ruck. Ball now finds its way to Josh Nelson on the far wing. Going to need a big quarter.
Do you think some of the frenetic pace of the first quarter started to settle out of the game?
Yeah, it has buttoned off a little bit. Alec Kudra off the deck, gets a handball out to Kent. Kent runs over the painted 50 for Loxton North.
Nice kick.
Shoots up, not able to mark it.
Tim Wolford just stands up in the tackle there, so the Rovers are going to go here. They've got numbers out wide. If Lachlan Elman wants to give the handball, he does to the coach, Josh Vader. Big booming right foot kick towards Jared Rowe. He's going back with the flight. Just judged it better than his opponent. Rowe now kicks inside 50, looking for Alex Haynes. Big jump from Smoke. Just doesn't manage to hold on to the footy.
Fletcher, a good smother there. Good punch, finds its way to Obst. He bombs it out of there, looks for Eckerman. He socketed it forward, though, and it found Declan Johnson. Dan Wolford now kicks up, finds Jackson, and that'll be 25-metre penalty. You can't push anyone in the back.
Fellas, it's the clean handling of the football by Declan Johnson there, wasn't it? Had it absolutely on a string. One grab straight in, fed it out, and the kick went forward. You wouldn't mind a few of them if you're leading to a teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. So Liam Jackson here about 20 metres out. Small angle, you back him in from here. You'd hope for the Rovers. Coming in now, kicks on the way, claps already, he likes it off the boot, and the Rovers are on the board again.
That scoreboard's not quite right up there, fellas, in case you're scratching your
What
head.
have you got for us, Nobby?
Well, that was the 9th goal of the game, and Loxton North have only kicked one. So that's 8-3, 51, plays Loxton North 1-2-8 on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard.
So that's
They got the 61 up there. They just need to find the 8.
It's okay, I'm sure. They'll work it out
They
in
got
due course,
51,
I'm sure.
61 instead of 51.
Look, I think no matter how you shake it up, mate, I don't think North fans are going to be too happy looking at that scoreboard regardless.
So a ball up back in the centre. Umpire Tony Florence throws it up. Doesn't go too far. It finds its way to Eckerman. He kicked it forward, but it finds Trevor Thorpe on the half-back line for Renmark and gets it out to Dan Wolford. He kicks up, looks for a target, trying to find the 37 of Jack Austin, sorry.
Now that he's cut the mullet, it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, he plays well on the ground for a big fella.
Bombs it into the attacking 50. The Rovers now on the attack again. Loxton North managed to clear it out just. Finds Josh Nelson in the back pocket. Scott Lewis, the 1-2 back to Nelson. Takes it up the eastern wing. Looked for Justin Proud. That was the target. Umpire's going to pay the mark. Probably all of the mark except the chopping arms maybe. Not sure if that was just paid the mark or if it was a free kick.
I think he's called the chop of the arms, but I mean, either way, same result.
Yeah.
Justin Proud with the footy now. Centre wing for the Panthers, goes forward. Big kick. Brodie Rovers stalking this one, and he read it better than anyone else. So Renmark again just soaking up those almost forward entries for the Panthers, and they're going to get a chance to reload a little bit here through Rover, who's still got the footy, just taking his time a little bit.
62 plays 8 on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. It's Renmark dominating thus far in this second semi-final. 62 on their way to a grand final number 5 in a row, Nobby. If they were to get the chocolates today, which at the moment is looking pretty promising.
Proud coming out with another free kick on that wing, being held in the play.
It looks like they have moved Sherpick to the bench, so he's going to come on and replace Hampel in the moment, but they might have done away with that little experiment in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, it was worthwhile, but when you're not getting the ball up there enough, it's hard to tell, is it?
So Loxton North just sort of calming things down for the moment, but as soon as we say that, we see a switch, and just those dangerous kicks. Manages to find Tyson Kent in the centre square. Small kick up the line, finds Coney. Caleb, that is. John T playing at West Adelaide today. Coney shoots to the pocket. Ryan Proud's the target. A bump out and a mark, and that's the Ryan Proud of old. Handball's over the top. Umpire said play on. Can Loxton North make something out of this? No, they clear it out. And Loxton North fans left bemused.
I think what's happened there is the ball has hit Harry Beavis in the face, and I reckon it's ricocheted back into
falconed it into his hands.
I think so, which is an effective spoil if you ask Beavis.
Yes. I'll be claiming it too.
Absolutely.
Loose set of handballs. Tyson Kent trying to lift his side. Loxton North bombs it up. Went over the top of Justin Proud. It's and a half forward. And now the Rovers clear it out again. We're seeing this all too many times. And Loxton North will have another shot here, but I don't think it's going to go too far.
Lovely handball to Kudra running past. Has a go. Mongrel punt. Proud brings it to ground in the square for Panthers and goes back after it.
Runs it over the line, and probably the best outcome there for Loxton North other than the goal. So can Loxton North make something out of this? They certainly need a goal if they're going to be any hope in this second half.
It's not quite a like for like here. Wolford coming on to replace Alex Haynes.
Yeah, but I think it. I don't think it'll take away from their defending power because Matt Wolford covers a bit of ground, Ben. So
that, while we were chatting there, the ball split over the line for a minor score. Loxton North, that is. They take it to 9, Nobby. 1-3-9 on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard.
Lovely mark. And now that is, fellas, I reckon, the contender. That's the pole position for mark of the day, and that's Adam Wesley, I reckon, on that side.
Certainly is. He kicks it into the attacking 50. Whiz. Held in by Kai Filkey.
Gee, Harry Gartery trying to wrestle that award straight back off him.
Almost an immediate answer. Dan Wolford's got one high, so he's got the footy for Renmark. Goes to brother and Tim. Tim Wolford with the footy just in front of the half-back line for the Rovers. Elects to go through the middle. Finds brother Matt, so that's the hat-trick, if you don't mind. 3 Wolfords in a row. Matt Wolford with the ball now. Just surveying his options a little bit. Rovers content to move the ball a little bit slower than the Panthers. Declan Johnson again with the ball. So just in the middle of the ground at the moment.
He can't stay away from it, Ben.
He's a bit of a magnet at the moment. He tries to find Jack Austin, I believe it is, on that far wing. He's tackled immediately by his Panther opponent. The Rovers still have the footy. Dane Austin's in there, tackled by Kudra straight away, brought to the ground. The umpire's called something. I think it's going to be a ball up.
Umpire says, I'll have it, fellas.
Ball up it is. 80 from home from Renmark. Keep kicking it in. They keep working it hard and they work it forward, and that's going to spill over the line. No, Kudra from Loxton North manages to keep it in. He was tackled after he had it. He's going to get a free kick. Probably fair.
Renmark, 7 goals clear on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard after leading by 5 at quarter time. Oh, set Adam Wesley a heck of a task there coming back across the ground.
Rovers scrambling here to try and get the footy. Jared Rowe with it now. Goes to Kel Marath. But Marath is wrapped up immediately by Adam Wesley. Ball comes out. Dan Wolford, snap on goal, likes it off the boot, and the goal umpire agrees with him. It's another one to the Rovers. They move 8 goals clear. Now Lockie Winnell on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. Worrying signs?
It certainly is worrying signs for Loxton North. Look, for me, what I'm seeing, Loxton North in the initial clearances, probably not getting done too much from Renmark, but it's the second and third clearances, and also their Renmark's rebound and their forward defensive pressure in the forward line. All right, get your head around that. It's bombing it out of their defence. And keeping it in their forward line is
Look, the
phenomenal.
most worrying thing about that was he had 2 players goal side to handball to if he didn't want to have a shot at goal himself.
Yep, numbers everywhere for the Rovers. That's what happens when you turn over inside back 50. Never go across goal. Bit of a 0-0 draw in the ruck. Scott Lewis into the middle for the Panthers. He kicks it long and strong forward. Brody Rovers there, the spore. Ryan Proud's lurking. He gets the footy now. Handballs back to Justin Proud. Handballs to no one in particular. Jared Rose around for the Rovers. And he's pounced on pretty quickly by a couple of Panthers.
And this is where Renmark are hurting the Panthers with their rebound attack.
Which is interesting because that day at Loxton North, Nobby, we were quite positive for Loxton North doing this.
Yep, here we go again. Lelman getting plenty of it. Once again around the stoppages, getting the ball out to the wing side, and he should be out there all on his own.
There's Dan Wolford with the ball, so he's starting to have a real impact on the game. Tries to find Jack Austin, doesn't quite gather it. Ball's going to go out of play.
Yeah, it's. I had him pretty highly ranked last week in my besties, but picked up the press to see he wasn't mentioned. But maybe I was sitting on the wrong side of the ground, Ben.
Could have been. I wasn't actually tuned into the call last week. I was down in front of the club rooms. So it might have been, it could be a different perspective, mate.
Yes, it was.
So ball now in Renmark's attacking 50. Scott Lewis from Loxton North tries to pick it up and take it out of there. Doesn't go too far, and we'll have a stoppage just inside Renmark's attacking 50.
I think he might have done a lot of damage in junk time too.
And there's a 25-metre penalty here. Renmark are going to have another shot on goal.
I think it's Kel Marath that's got the footy.
Didn't actually see what that penalty was for.
Nor did I.
I reckon it was holding the ball, and then someone must have given the ump a little bit of extra advice. Yeah,
there's a lot of bodies in there.
All right. Renmark just getting that little bit closer to that 5th straight Riverland Football League Grand Final.
Fellas, I'm going to sneak down just before half-time and see if I can grab the assistant coach from Loxton North, but I'm not going anywhere near the rooms because I think the paint will be blistering.
Ball's on the way, and that's another one. And Renmark extend the lead. That's 10 goals for Loxton North, 1-4.
10-4-64 plays 10. It's a 9-goal lead. 2 quarters to go. You can't outscore them by 5 goals a quarter and get up. I'm going to call it. I don't think they can win this, but I think it's very important that they don't rack the queue. They must fight it all the way to the end because they could be back against Renmark in 2 weeks' time.
If you want to see Nobby Norton prove wrong, stick around on 5RM football, that's for sure. The Panthers will not be throwing the towel in.
Famously wrote off the Matildas in the group stage.
Of course he did.
and also said Dave Warner's last test was 3 years ago. He's still on the side, Nobby.
I'm almost on his team with that one, though.
So back to the footy at Renmark, second semi-final. The other stoppage doesn't go too far.
Look who's on the bottom of that pack, though. Zach Gartrey who's just chased up. He's just in the ruck and he's come flying back down to get on the ball about 25 metres away. So
I'll tell you what, fellas, that's the life of a sports analyst. You can't be right all the time.
You just got to keep shooting, Nobby. That's fine, mate.
Scott Lewis now in the middle for Loxton North. I reckon that was one switch Terry Lefty probably didn't want to try today, but I think he's had to do it. So Judge Sherpig for Loxton North now takes the ruck work. And we'll have another stoppage as the Murray Pest Control clock ticks down in the second quarter.
So the message at half-time, fellas?
Be a bit better. I don't know. What do you say?
It won't be run faster, kick longer, and get more of it. I think there'll be a few more bits and pieces in the message.
Just wonder if Renmark have too many weapons up forward for them to match. Gartree sends them inside 50 this time. Haynes flying for the footy. Now it's spilled out into dispute. Lockie Lellman tracks it to the boundary line, so there'll be a throw in. But yeah, you just look at that Renmark forward 6, and they're all having a massive impact, whether it's on the scoreboard or not. You look at Alex Haynes, he's only kicked 1 for the day, but he's been a focal point up there. And then you've got the Crummers that are doing the job. It's tricky matchups around.
So a ball in, 45 from Renmark's home. Renmark managed to pick up the crumbs. Now Jackson boots it to the top of the square. No one able to mark it. Punch forward. Jared Rowe was in there as well again. Nobby, your favourite player from Renmark. Kicks in front of the goals and out of bounds.
Look, fellas, I think the tall Loxton North defenders in Beswick, Fletcher and Opes have all handled their opponents pretty well. It's the ground level players that are killing them.
I think Fletcher's been excellent on Haynes. He's definitely seen a lot of the footy, and it's not like Big Smoke's kicked too many goals today. But, you know, the problem is the ball just keeps coming in there.
They're going to get a free.
It's Brad Beswick.
Oh, no.
Someone got hold of him before he had control of the ball.
Kel Morath there just limping a little bit. I think he wants to go to the bench just quietly. No, he's staying on, all right.
Does look a bit ginger.
Kick out. Sherpick from Loxton North was a target, but it went over the back. Now Renmark through Dan Wolford get their hands on it. Finds its way to Austin. Looking for a teammate. Handball's wide. Finds, I think that was Vader out there. Handball's back inboard again. Finds Austin. Kicks up to the pocket.
Almost Opes. Almost pulled in a miraculous mark.
Yep. Josh Nelson from Loxton North. Keep it in. Finds its way to Vumard. Kick down the line. Umpire's called something here. The boundary umpire called out of bounds. Oh, they're going to get a 25-metre penalty here, Loxton
See,
North.
I would have thought play the advantage. Loxton North kicked to one of their own teammates and the ball was off.
Yeah, 64 plays 10.
Still a bit of a scuffle in the pocket here. A couple of North players have got Dane Austin involved, and Jack Austin's down there. I wouldn't be picking too many fights with those boys, I'll tell you that. Big boys.
Beswick in there.
Ball comes out to Jai Drake at just behind centre for Loxton North.
So forward they go. Coney it is that flies and takes the mark. He's been in it a little bit this second quarter, but the siren's going to beat Loxton North. And on the We Control Australia scoreboard, 10 goal 4, 64. Renmark plays Loxton North 1 goal 4, 10. So Lockie Winnell, another good start for the Panthers in this second semi-final.
No, we'll be back with the second half. It's going to be a lot of work for the Panthers. Renmark Rovers fans just 2 quarters away of potentially being in a 5th straight grand final. It is 5RM football. We'll throw back to Trevor Scott in the Sideline View studio. Trevor, what have you got? Thank you, Trevor Scott. At the moment, it's the Renmark Rovers with a comprehensive lead, 10-6-64, leading Loxton North, 1-4-10. Lockie Reynolds, my name. Alongside me is Ben Lennon and Trevor Nobby Norton, as always, at 5RM Football. Ben, Nobby, it must be said, Renmark are the real deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the scoreboard...
No, I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, nine-goal advantage at half-time for the Rovers in front of their home crowd. It's, they're definitely looking the goods at the moment. Nobby Norton, you reckon that the Panthers need to throw things around a little bit to just get a bit of a foothold in this game?
Yeah, no point racking the queue, Ben. You need momentum for next week and potentially the week after. Had a look at the Loxton North team board as they were heading in half-time, and it was blank. All the magnets had been moved off it. And I'm thinking to myself, if I was in there, I know that probably primary job down there in the visitors' change rooms is to get it repainted during the week because the paint has blistered off the walls. But I'm thinking, get that magnet board, move them around a bit, and let's go attacking. I'll tell you what, one of the things I suggested to you, Ben, off air has happened. Cody Vumard to centre-half forward. This is what you got to do. Do your best to outscore Renmark in the second half and take some momentum into next week and potentially further on.
Ball back in the centre. The second half underway in the second semi-final. It's Sherpig and Gartrey that do the ruck work for their respective sides. Gartrey got the pick up off the deck. Says holding the ball. Right, okay. So it's the Panthers with the first free kick of the half. It's Zach Woolley, the one that got that good kick up forward. Oh, didn't quite hit the target. And this is where we've seen Renmark be all too dangerous. This rebound off half-back, Ben Lennon.
Yeah, Matt Wolford missed the kick a little bit. Jack Austin's got the footy and he cops one high from Judd Sherpig. So Austin with the ball now on that far, so in between the flank and the wing there. But you're right, Lockie, it's the biggest pain for the Panthers has been that breakout in transition from the Rovers. They've just been clean and decisive with the ball. Austin tries to go forward now. It's like Tim Wolford's going to get the footy just in front of the 450 for the Rovers.
I reckon that was kicked to him by Matt Wolford.
Yep, so we could be looking for a third here, but Dan's just tracking on his own on the wing. So
can't see their father anywhere,
can you? He's too interested in getting the footy. But Lockie Lellman now, just outside 450 for the Rovers. So not a lot of movement inside 450. Haynes starts to go a little bit now, and he heads in that direction. Oh. There's Panthers everywhere.
Yeah, good mark from Zach Wooldridge.
He's taken the role of... Vumard at half-back.
Getting into the game a bit more.
We'll need to.
Finds Scott Lewis. Just hold station. Small kick up the line. Josh Nelson, the target. Goes the switch. Looks for a target. It's a dangerous kick, and it's been intercepted by the Rovers. Panthers try to hold onto it and fight it out, and we'll get a stoppage. Oh, high tackle there.
Well, what it was, Lockie, was the second action. It was a rough tackle. He threw into the ground.
Oh, Alec Kudra got the free kick, finds Mason Eckerman, handballs back inside and finds Tyson Kent. Kent got to get it on quickly, manages to put it in front of Dylan Elthiriadis. The Panthers go in there attacking 50. No one's home. They got a small kick off the deck.
That was Coney.
And Coney...
hit the post.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Just clipped the post on the way through.
Gee, luck's a fortune there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they could have done with that. That would have been a nice start. Look, boys, looking at the way the game's been played, Renmark doing most of their damage rebounding off half-back and quick movement of the ball. If I'm Loxton North, I want to slow it down a bit. Maybe send it in really high and get a contest.
The problem is, Nobby, it just goes against everything they've done all year. So you're willing to throw that out in the first final? You've got to do something.
Maybe that's the way you've got to play against Renmark.
So
take away something from them. Sorry, Lockie.
That's right. The kick-outs had a stoppage on the 50-metre arc for Loxton North. They managed to hold into it just. Probably wasn't the best kick-out from Harry Beavis, but either way, Loxton North have held on to this one just. Ball up. Dylan Elthiriadis plucked it out from the contest, but the Rovers get the clearance. And however, it finds Tyson Kent from Loxton North from the wing, brings it inboard, looks for a target. It was a dangerous kick.
To Wesley, who goes back after it and gets it, but unfortunately kicks into his opponent.
Smothered. Loxton North managed to get this one again somehow. Finds Cody Vomard. Nobby, the switch you've been calling for has kind of worked. It's found its way to the forward pocket for the Panthers. But Harry Beavis on the bottom of that pack there for the Rovers holds it in.
Where I was going with the previous comment, the chaos ball into the Loxton North forward line, it works for Renmark because they handle it better and rebound it. Here we go again.
You might see it here through Tim Wolford.
They've dragged it out of their defence, Renmark, and now they go on the attack, and it's a series of link-up handballs. Trevor Thorpe brings it back inboard. It's a bit like a basketball game. You just wind the clock out of it. And it goes up the line and finds Jared Rowe again. The Rovers go on the attack. Dan Wolford, easy mark, turns around, and look at this. It's a training drill for the Rovers.
They just had options everywhere down the line. There's no one within 5 metres of any of those blokes that marked the ball on the far side, and there was 3 or 4 of them in that chain, so it's just easy as you like for Renmark.
I'm not aware of my basketball terms, but that wasn't a half-court press, was it?
No,
it looked like
that was. You know what that was, Lockie? Coast to coast.
Well, it looked a bit like a basketball game. The amount of time those Rovers players had.
Yep, and Alex Haynes the beneficiary here, so he's coming in for a shot on goal. It's a fair way out, but he struck it pretty well off the boot.
But if it's a basketball game, that's a slam dunk.
He likes
because
it.
he slotted it.
It's his second goal for the day, Ben, and first for this second half. Takes the score to 11-4, 70, playing Loxton 1-4-10 on the Aquatic Week Control Australia scoreboard.
This is the problem the Loxton North defenders are going to have. If the ball's coming in that easily, there's not many players in the competition that can go with Haynes one-on-one with him, giving him a bit like 3 yards on him with the pace and the reach that he's got. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. You've got to try and find a way to hold them up, or at least go with them while they're running back. There was no Loxton North players working back on that far side then, and it's just way too easy for Renmark.
I'm thinking the way to make them work more is go back to what I'm going to say it again. Kick that ball in long and high and try and make a contest, even if it's another ball up. It means Renmark players have to get back.
There's also no height down there, though.
Yeah.
They've taken Judd Sherpig out of there. He's back in the ruck now, and we are underway again. Gartrude the Vader goes out wide. Dan Wolford's got the ball. He's got acres of space as well and plenty of time. Goes inside 50, looking for Lockie Lellman, who reads it better than his opponent. Snap around the body. Easy as you like for Lockie Lellman, and the Rovers are on the board again. That's a genuine contender for the Surf to Suit Loxton goal of the day. Straight out of the contest in the middle. Bit of a handball chain inside 50 in the way you go. Lockie Lellman with the snap.
Yeah, nice body work from Lellman, just easing his player under the ball. Loxton North spectators here probably thinking, well, Ryan Proud did something similar like that in the second quarter and got penalised, but I think that was a fair bit of play by Lellman and clever football.
Yeah, 76 plays 10 on the Aquatic Week Control Australia scoreboard. It's Renmark dominating in this second semi-final. Just a quarter and a half away from playing in a 5th straight Riverland Football League grand final.
Watch this interchange bench work overtime for the Rovers in this half, fellas. Everyone will be on and off, going flat out. They're going to grind Loxton North into the ground if they can.
Ball up. Scott Lewis from Loxton North says, I'm not taking this anymore, and he picked up the crumbs, but it was a wild old kick into the forward lines and didn't quite penetrate the 50-metre arc.
I'll tell you what, there's a footballer I reckon's improved. Harry Beavers. Ben.
He's been great this year.
Yep.
Yeah. He normally gives away a few inches to his opponent every week and battles hard. He's been really good.
I think in the past he's sort of languished in the seconds because he's been not quite quick enough and not quite tall enough, if you know what I mean.
He's got the experience, and the Rovers no doubt would have valued him with a bit of a younger backline this year as well for Renmark. So they got another chance here. Ball's just floating around the 450. There's a whistle. Looks like it's going to be a free kick the way of Loxton North.
Must say, as someone that played quite a few seconds games, Nobby, and Harry Beavis was in the seconds most of those games, it was always good for a chat. Well, I was in the forward lines, and
How many did you kick on him, Lockie?
No, I was more in the pocket or the flank. He was taking the big men, but yeah, you're right. 5-6 years ago, he was in the twos.
What I meant by that was he was too short for a big man and too slow for a small man.
I hate to cut you off, Nobby, but Harrison Brown has just pulled out one of the all-time efforts. That was a big old Superman dive. And the Rovers are off through Liam Jackson. Looks inside 50, goes to Lockie Lellman, and that is a serious leap.
Yeah. And see Jackson's first 3 steps from that ball, just power on.
Yeah.
Got a break from his opponent, made his kicking easier, and Lellman, he read it beautifully, Ben.
So Lellman to kick Renmark's 13th goal. Not even halfway done in this third quarter. Loxton North only managing the one thus far. Every kick just puts them in that grand final that little bit further. Minor score.
So he's been burnt the most by that. Harrison Brown. Yep. That effort in the middle of the ground was fantastic and set the Rovers up there. That deserved the goal for that alone.
Sure did. You can see the Rovers players with their mind 2 weeks ahead. Not 2 weeks ahead to have a rest to get there. 2 weeks ahead, I want to play.
Well, they want the spot. This is the thing. There's so
play.
much incentive out there with a couple of guys that might come back in depending on injury and form and stuff like that. So you want to be playing your best footy.
Yep.
So Loxton North take the kick out. Beswick doing the duties now. Bombs it up to the half-back line. Umpire's seen something, and it's It's going to be a free to the Rovers here. Okay.
Yeah, pushing the back
Yep.
to Jack Austin, I reckon.
So Austin with the kick. He'd be 55 from home.
He's sort of halfwaying it up. I think he's going to go shorter, or at least
Well,
just set it up to the goal square.
Wheels
Kicks
around and
Kaboom.
it very high.
gives it a roost. They all fly up and
there
on.
it is, boys.
What a grab.
There it is. There is the mark of the day.
Big Zach Gartrey read it better than anyone else. And it helps when you're 6 foot 100.
I was just about to say in off-play, fellas, that I reckon Austin will be doing the rest of the rucking, most of it in this second half, Jack Austin, while Gartery spends a little bit of time up forward.
Yeah, and it's paid dividends already. Gartrey kicks the goal, but I don't think he's staying up forward. He's running straight back to the middle of the ground. All business at the moment.
Yeah, I would have thought that perhaps Coach Vader might have thought, well, okay, I might give Jack a bit more of a run up ground, but Gartery said, it's okay, Coach, I've got it.
He's one of those guys that just loves rucking. He absolutely loves it, and he'll be in there 24/7 if he can. So.
Here you go, Dane Austin coming off for a rest, but replaced by Jared Rowe. If you're Loxton North, I don't think you're feeling any better about that.
No, that's why I was just going to say that's why Gartry's the state country ruckman. There's a reason for that.
Kicked the goal on that day as well, over in WA.
Do you reckon one of the Samford clubs might have a nibble at him in the
I'd
off-season?
be shocked if they haven't been into him already, and I think that might have happened in years gone by, but he's content at the Rovers at the moment.
Yeah, but 4 flags, he might want another challenge, Ben.
5 then.
So a ball up, and speaking of, great tap backwards,
Oh,
finds
Tim
Tim
Wolford.
Wolford, who can't quite pick it up. It's a hot potato footy, and we'll have another stoppage. Loxton North got away with that one.
Back to Gartrey is an awkward age for that sound because he's
Yes.
27 years old, so it's a tricky one.
Mature age, rookie.
He's talking himself into it.
Are we saying the James Podsiadley of...
The J-Pod, as the
Well,
name.
we're sitting not that far from the Renmark Rovers football manager, so we might not want to give away too many ideas.
Giving you a quizzical
That's
look as well.
mine. We might be blocking a few phone numbers.
Once
from
again,
Sanford clubs.
just turn down that crowd mic.
Hey, boys, Tim Wolford doing all the hard work
Oh.
inside for the Rovers at the moment, and the Loxton North definitely missing Joel Worsfold, who plays a similar role for them.
Gartrey with the free kick. And the right handballs off to...
yeah, just to
Well, look,
stop that Sanford club call, just handballs one into the deck.
Just a quick trip to the bathroom or to the bar for the Sanford recruiters
Yeah.
during there for Gartrey. But North now,
Tyson Kent at half-back for Loxton North.
yeah, tries to go through the middle of the ground. You got to go full tilt, but it's just not paying dividends for North today. They can't pick off a target to save themselves at the moment.
Was Anspatch finds Jack
Is he in
Austin.
range this time if he pulls out perhaps the
It's the exact
5
same
on?
spot.
Perhaps the 5 on instead of the 9?
He's chipped it off. Not sure if it made the distance. I believe it has. Kelmarath.
Gartery off and Alex Haynes on, so they are going to give Hainesy a go on the ruck, but they're going to give... Only way they can get him into ruck is to actually get Gartery off the ground.
Correct.
83 plays 11 on the Aquatic Week Control Australia scoreboard at 5 on Riverland Football if you're just joining us this afternoon.
This will be the second for Kelmarath if he can go back and kick this, and he's probably one of the ones that we were talking about that
Yeah.
needs to play as hard as he can to get that spot in the granny if they see out this game, which you'd expect they will.
Marath
And it's all about taking your opportunities, isn't it?
kicks on the way, minus score.
Lovely looking kick off the boot, but couldn't quite find the big white ones.
13-6 plays Loxton North, 1-5-11, 84. The score for the Renmark Rovers. You're in Loxton North position here now, Nobby. Coach Terry Eleutheriadis will just watch this kick out here. Kicks up the deck. Oh,
Gee whiz.
spills out of Scott Lewis's hands, and this is where the Rovers can be dangerous. Dives on the ground, holding the ball.
He was given a nice shove off the ball, though, just the same.
Alec Kudra was the one that got on with it quickly. Kicks up the line. Good
Nice
mark from
grab.
Dylan Eleutheriadis on the back flank. Looked to bring it back in board, but just decides against that. Small kick over the top. Finds Alec Kudra. Spills over the back. He was too quick for his own mark there, Nobby Norton.
Yes, he went without it.
Not going into the slips anytime soon is Kudra. Tim Wolford with the ball now, drives Renmark forward again. Liam Jackson's the only tall target down the line, which you don't say too often, so lots of North to clean up
You're
here.
thinking boundary rider position for him rather than in the slips, Ben?
Potentially. Well, yeah, get him as your runner in between the wickets. I
Yes,
reckon. We
too
could use that.
true.
We could definitely use that in the RTCA if
Here we
anyone's
go.
listening.
Vader has a go.
Oh, that could be in the back. No, out of
Umpire's
play.
calling for something here. We're just trying to work out what the go is.
Throw in,
Just
the
throw
ball
in.
in, yep.
Let's pull in.
I think Vader's own momentum might have led to most of his fall there.
Loxton North about to use the interchange, Nobby, for what could be maybe the third time today.
Yeah, Matthew Fletcher coming on. Had plenty of work to do in the back lines too.
It really is polar opposites, the use of the benches between these two sides. There's no more extreme in Riverland football. You've got Renmark that have got set rotations going every 7 minutes. Every player's coming off every now and then. We'll just watch this one, holding the ball on half-back's the call.
Yeah, which becomes important when you get to finals and important when you get to warmer weather.
Which we've got a little bit today. It's quite a nice one out there. Not too hot. But.
Yeah, I'd be surprised there's not more people wearing the old Mason Cox sunnies out there. I would be.
Bit of zinc cream, perhaps.
Coney with the football. He went to kick it, but it was smothered by the Rovers. Ball's on the ground. They're all diving on it to hold it in. Centre wing, Loxton North desperately needs something in this second half.
Gee, Matt Wolford getting a little bit aggressive.
I'll tell you what, despite the scoreboard, there's still a little bit in this. There's bodies flying everywhere. Many points.
I think Renmark have got that attitude. Once they got their foot on your throat, they're not taking it off.
Well, this is a team that's been there and done it.
Yeah.
Good tap from Haynes, and the clearance now finds its way to half forward for the Rovers, who are in the all too familiar position again. Umpire's called something. Loxton North are going to get a free kick on half back. Beswick gets it on quickly, finds Zach Woodridge.
He's got a good leg on him, Zach. Just go as long and far as you can, Zach.
Just goes the opposite. Small kick over the top to Dylan Elthiriadis. I was with you there, Nobby. I think that should have been a big drive.
Yeah, he gets it back.
Gets it back, kicks it up the line. Lewis the target, punch forward from the Rovers. A couple of quick handballs.
Here comes the rebound off half-back, fellas, that I've been talking about.
There is always that loose player out the side, out the back, and it was like Harry Beavis had practiced that 6,000 times at training this week. He knew where to be.
He picked that up playing alongside you in the twos, mate, I reckon, as we said before.
Well, I played against him.
You know whose
role I reckon he slipped into, boys? The Fraser Sampson role. Fraser was always that outlet player. I
think Beavis plays a little bit deeper, but definitely that run off half-back is something he's brought to the table this year. And it's led the Rovers to another inside 50, but North are coming back the other way now through the middle of the ground. And Harrison Brown has been clean bowled. Alec Kudra's there, sockers it forward. Trevor Thorpe's going to hunt this one. Picks it up pretty cleanly, handballs out back to Brown, gets a chance to atone. Goes forward through the middle of the ground, and Matt Wolford has got plenty of space to take an uncontested mark.
Yep, and it's like the training drill starts again. Speaking of that outlet...
Thorpe wanting it back and getting it back right in the dead set middle.
We spoke about that last year a lot, Nobby, that outlet player. You're right. Fraser Sampson, now the coach of the Barmah Monash Roos. The other one was Ricky Garrett, who suffered an injury started this year, so he hasn't played a game all season. And
Tim Wolford with the ball drives it forward, Lockie, to the full forward line, and this time Opes managing to get Austin under the ball and take the relieving mark.
Yeah, great defensive mark from the Panther defender. Finds Zach Woodridge, still in the defensive 50. Kicks over the top, finds Fletcher, small kick. Fletcher just calling for some options.
Look, he's just drifting into the back play.
Looks a bit...
Zach Gartery.
Looks a bit worried. Finds Cody Vumard in the centre square. Not quite the switch, more the merge. Shifting lanes here. Good. We'll call it that. It's not a full switch. Scott Lewis brings it wide. Doesn't quite meet Dylan Elthiriadis. He managed to shake the tackle just. Gets around Wolford and takes a bounce. Handballs over the top. Finds Alec Kudra. Alec Kudra brings it wider and handballs around the corner. Justin Proud was the one he tried to get it to, but Zach Gartery, the state country ruckman, manages to intercept, but it's found Kudra, who drives it back into attack for Loxton North. No one able to mark it. Kick off the ground from Coney. Is this North's second goal?
No,
it's not.
Fellas, misses to the right.
Geez, Harrison Brown, I think feeling a bit hard done by there. I think he got a lot of that, Mark. But minus score to the Panthers. So getting forward through handballs there as well.
Yes.
A bit of a chain.
I think the problem was they had to try and work out some way of getting over Gartery.
Yeah, he's a tall man.
Wolford brings it out of defence. Punched. Loxton North managed to pick this one up. That's Ryan Proud. Kicks it to the top of the square. Not quite top of the square. Top of the square direction.
Matt Wolford, who manages to find space all over the ground, whether it's back lines or forward lines, he will get to the footy.
So it's the Rovers with the footy in defence. Go the switch out. Finds Zach Gartery that had a paddock. Kudra, some good closing speed, manages to trap him in. Gartery's just trying to fend off those Sandford Club calls and just bombs it along.
Let's hit the moon, Lockie.
Yep.
Lelman there to Rove, goes forward. Jackson versus Tyson Kent. Kent's got the better of the two pace-wise and gets there first. Turns around, tries to go forward. Finds a teammate in Zach Woodridge. Who just fairly composed, but flying out of nowhere is Dan Wolford to affect the spoil. And the Rovers are going to come away with the ball through Lockie Lelman. So just desperation here. You know, they're 12 goals up and they're still flying around the place to affect the spoil and do the 1%ers, Nobby. It's important.
and Vader, you'd say, if he was getting Willis medal votes today, which he's not, he would probably be in the count again.
Yeah, sells a bit of candy and goes around the
what a
corner.
lovely
Good kick up the line. Finds Johnson. Johnson, the smother from Loxton North of the Falcon. And it's Opes that drives it out of defence, but it's going to find Zach Gartree on the half-back line for Renmark. And Renmark switch out again, finds Dan Wolford. That Loxton North player that copped it in the face. I'm just trying to see who that might be because I haven't got up just yet.
Yeah, that was a flush, Lockie. That was straight on the noggin.
It was a big, powerful kick too from young Declan Johnson. As we talk, the Rovers work the footy up the scoreboard wing.
Wolf
Drived it now into their attacking 50. No one could mark it. That might have been a mark of the day contender. Ball spills forward.
Beswick just got a hand in on it.
Great second effort from Haynes to lock that ball down and lay the tackle straight away after the marking contest. And now Renmark have another chance at goal inside 450.
Yeah, that was Shapley was the one that copped that in the face before. So he's coming off for a quick rest.
Quite slowly, must be said.
Wesley is coming on now.
Oh.
Boys, we're watching Zach Gartery in the back play, and we've already identified that he's probably the best ruckman in SA country footy. You've got to have someone with him, do you think? I mean, it's hard to find a big fella to match with him, but just someone standing next to him is enough, isn't it?
This is what we said. Nobby, do you need them to just go shoulder to shoulder?
Yeah.
Every single person on the ground's good to have a player. But
which is where I'd have been at half-time, fellas.
Wesley already into the game. Kicks into the attacking 50 for Loxton North, but no one's home.
I mean,
other than Harry Beavis.
I mean, Harry Beavis had to call Gartery out of that.
Someone might
have got cracked.
Someone might need to get the subdivision form out and sell him a bit of that 50-metre arc. Harry Beavis has been there all day. Seriously,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, not sure how the zoning rules work, Nobby, but you know all those all too well.
Yeah,
well, we've got an expert with us.
You'd have to go for a rezoning application on that.
Is it Crown land under council control,
or take a bit too long?
You know, the Rover fans just want to sell it to Harry Beavis.
Yep.
He's been living there all day.
Well, he played the same game against them last week, fellas. He had so much of it.
Amazing.
Here we go, another one for Zach Gartery, boys. Off he goes.
Plays on.
Oh, no. He's kicked it straight to the opposition.
It's that time of the game, though, that I don't think it really matters all too much.
Well, you're thinking we're into junk time already. It's only in the third quarter.
You called the game 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, and accurately too, by the way.
Loxton North now, the ball in attack. Coney off the deck. Can this be goal number 2?
Yes, it can.
There we go.
Coney slots one. The Panther fans are appreciative, but they still trail by 11 goals. 13-6-84 leads Loxton North 2-6-18.
Look, he's had a fair dip.
Yeah, I was going to say, a bit of reward for effort there. He's had a few shots on goal. I think one hit the post earlier, so yeah, he probably deserved that one, but definitely too little, too late, you'd have to think, for the Panthers. But, you know, still plenty to play for in terms of momentum, like we've said, so just depends how you want to attack it, Lockie.
Yeah, Jonty Coney, his younger brother, been in and out of the side this year. He's still playing at West Adelaide today, and that is one thing to watch for finals in coming weeks.
You think he might be back, Lockie?
There's actually a few under-18s from the Riverland playing in. It's the last game of the season today. They're not going to make the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you win 2 games for the year, you're never going to play finals, right?
True. This
is the West Adelaide under-18s talking about here. So there's a few players in that side that have been playing in and out of the Riverland teams this year. And
Hample drives the ball forward high. Vumod brought that to ground, but look out. Here goes Ian Spatch off half-back. Here comes the rebound.
Oh.
Soccer kick again from Tim Wolford. Takes it wide. He's also been a bit inspired by the recent weeks from the Matildas.
And the reason he did that is because he knows he'll be out on that wing.
Dan Wolford.
Yep.
So you're saying that there's going to be a few boys to come in next week, you'd think, with the Westie season wrapping up?
Yeah, and even... I mean, I'm interested to see what Wakery roll out with tomorrow too.
Yes,
because there's a few in that side that have been playing at West Adelaide this year too.
Mm-hmm. Make a big difference for sure.
Certainly does. Ball now into the attacking 50 from Renmark, but driven out quickly. No, they wasted a bit of time, the Panthers, and Renmark will get the free kick. Tim Wolford all on his own. Oh no, ball's been brought back. The Rovers are on then.
Liam Jackson probably doesn't have the distance, wouldn't have thought. Looks for the handball.
Small kick from Dan Wolford to the pocket. Good mark. That's Alex Haynes, I reckon. It is too. The number 35 for the Renmark Rovers. And the tall timber for the Rovers is proving a little bit too much for Loxton North this afternoon.
Yeah, I think, the Loxton North defenders can probably hold their heads fairly high. It's just the amount of supply that the Rovers forwards have had. Alex Haynes misses the mark there, but just entry after entry, and it's coming at pace as well, so it's so hard to defend. So I'm not sure how much blame you can place on the guys in the back six. I think, in the centre and even necessarily across the half-forward line, there's no one running back and chasing those guys that are getting out and getting free.
No. 83 plays 18 on the Aquatic Week Control Australia scoreboard. It's Renmark, all of 30 minutes away from grand final number 5 in a row. Got a copy there, Nobby?
Gotcha, roger that. Coney again with another solid mark at half-back.
So they're still looking to use the corridor at every opportunity, so they're going to keep playing Feriadis' way. There it is. There's the slip-up.
Oh, here we go, and there's a little bit of a scuffle going on out there at three-quarter time.
The Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard at three-quarter time is 13-6-84, plays 2-6-18. And I'm not sure about the MMF going on in the middle there.
That's all right. We will find out what is happening around other sports and grades this afternoon, or competitions, with Trevor Scott in the Sideline View studio. Trevor, what have you got? Thank you, Trevor Scott. A lot of Essendon fans would be sweating on that result, and There's not many Gold Coast fans at all, and there's not many in the Riverland, so probably don't need to worry too much about that one. Ben Lennon, Nobby Norton, Trevor Scott, do we?
Unless, of course, you've got them in your multi.
Well, Nobby, that's a story for another day. Look, it is 3/4 time at Renmark this afternoon. It's the Rovers now just 1 quarter away from making the 5th straight Riverland Football League Grand Final in a row. 13-6-84, leading Loxton North 2-6-18. It has been one-way traffic.
Boys, just going through the goal scorers for Renmark, and I think I've got them right. Declan Johnson with 4 goals. Alex Haynes, 2. Dane Austin, 2. Singles to Gartery, Dan Wolford, Lockie Lellman, Kel Morath and Liam Jackson. For Loxton North, Zach Waldridge with their first goal and Caleb Coney bringing up their second goal in that quarter.
So what do you do here? Loxton North, you've just got to ride it out. It is a double chance semi-final, so they're going to play another game next week. What do you do here? Do you try some things, Nobby, or do you just wind the clock down and just hope for the best?
I reckon you just go as hard as you can and keep the ball in play so it goes quickly.
Yeah, you don't want any extra time in this one, do we? No. Look, the Renmark Rovers have been a class above. I
guess the most concerning thing for the Panthers is their inability to kick goals. You know.
Yeah, two for the game heading into the last quarter is not where you want to be.
And you want to win this quarter.
So a ball up, ball spills wide, and it's Loxton North that get the first clearance. Good kick from Lewis, kicks up to the top of the 50-metre arc. Cody Vomard trying to keep it in.
Here they come again off half-back.
But it's Renmark, though, that go on the attack. The rebound. They've been too good at this today. Loxton North unable to mark it. Declan Johnson front and centre for the Rovers. Gets a handball out the side. The Rovers have another shot on goal. It's looking all right off the boots. Minus score.
It's Dane Austin again looking for his 3rd goal of the day. Had a great day, Ben. They've all played well, but he's probably one of the handful of exceptional players for him.
He's probably leading the race for the 3 votes at the moment. But
it's not that I'm trying to influence your decision.
No, it would be very
unlike
It would be very unlike you to do that, Nobby, so I trust that you're not. But yeah, no, for sure, Dane's been fantastic. As have most of Renmark. It's another case of a tricky one to pick for the 3-2-1 because it's contributors across the ground for sure.
So kick out from Loxton North, finds Scott Lewis at half-back, handballs wide to Waldridge. Woolley kicks up the line, looks for Dylan Eltheriadis. Good mark at centre wing, grandstand side.
Sherpick all on his own in the forward pocket. But
brings it back inboard. The switch finds Kudra. He's got a couple of metres, just holds station. Brings it back inboard, trying to deter his player. Kicks into the attacking 50, looks for a mark. No one able to mark it. Can Loxton North make something out of this? They can't. Drives out of defence.
Good kick from Morgan Edwards, finds Lockie Lellman.
Sorry, Nobby Norton.
Space here for the Rovers, boys, and Jared Rose got the footy about 60 metres out. Big smoke on the lead, goes to him. Might get a second grab at it. No, Dane Austin's there to rove on the right foot. Doesn't quite go to plan, despite his strong day out there, Nobby. And I'm not even sure that's going to register a minus score.
Boys, just a quick question for you without notice. How would you like to be leading to Alec Kudra? Not.
He definitely changed his mind a few times there to try and lose Dan Wolford, for sure.
Okay, if you're slow on the lead,
yeah,
because your second one will be the one.
He almost makes up for it, where he's such a good user of it, though. So it's there's going to be a point there. So they've ruled a point to Dane Austin. So Renmark continue to
not
build
knocking
that lead.
the young fella because he's one of their goers.
So Josh Nelson brings the ball in out of the kick out, but doesn't go too far. Finds Jack Austin at half back. He kicks it back inboard quickly, looks for a target, spills over the back. No one got their hands on it. Haynes was the man he was trying to kick it to. The Rovers will make something out of this. I say that, and Loxton North managed to clear it out.
You're trying to do the reverse psychology here.
Well, the reverse commentator's curse.
No. Josh Vader with the ball for the Rovers, streaming through the middle of the ground, and another minus score. He'll be a little bit dirty on that. Not when he back himself in.
Lovely ball handling from Lachlan Lellman there. Gathered it in with one hand and shot it out to the coach, who was, as he normally is, going past packs at high speed.
So the ball just on the bike track, just looking for someone to kick it out there. Loxton North are changing their mind. Who's going to kick it out?
So it is going to drag if it's going to go at this rate.
Yes, it is. I don't think they realise this is time off.
85 plays, 18 on the Murray Pesk on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. That's how long this day's been for us. Kicks up the line. Austin couldn't mark it, but the Rovers have worked it forward. Good handball from Rowe. Finds Lellman. to Wolford. That's Matt. He goes for the
Oh.
switch.
Harrison Brown's trapped that. That was some impressive fielding, but the North are going to come away with the footy here. Tyson tries to go past one, but there is absolutely no getting past Jack Austin. That's a crunching tackle.
Fellas, I reckon it early days yet, but for the hardest work, that is one of the hardest moments I've seen from a player
Between that
defensively.
and Harrison Brown's defensive effort last quarter, the Rovers have been on it today. They want this, you can tell.
Wesley tried to clear it out. Got it to Zach Woolley. He got
Here
a
he
kick off
is.
the deck. Johnson, kick on goal. Has he slotted another? He has.
He
And that's number 5.
did not even look for the handball. He knew where the goals were.
No, minus score. Right, okay.
Been overall.
Must have been touched off the boot, fellas, because it went through the big ones.
Just looking in, there's a bit of argy-bargy going on out there.
Still?
Jack Oates having a fair crack at one of the Austin boys.
That's been going for much of the day, I reckon. Oates has been in the thick of it.
Well, the funny thing is, the last time out at Loxton North, these sides played, there was a bit going on between those two as well. Not sure what's happening there.
Definitely a couple of vocal supporter groups as well that might just add to the occasion.
Oh, you're suggesting that maybe it could go on outside the white line.
No, I would never suggest that.
There's a bit of a feud. It's started somewhere this year.
I think, boys, it's all it's just verbal at the moment, I think. Nice work there. Look out wide.
Good tackle from Coney on Morgan Edwards. Coney gets the footy back and is dumped afterwards by Edwards. So they'll get a free kick up the field here.
Coney's hard at it, isn't he, for a young fella?
He's been really impressive today, I think. He's one of the few players that you can tell have tangibly made a difference for the Panthers.
I'm just writing him into eligibility for the Young Charger Award, fellas.
Yep, fair call.
Umpire says keep playing. No, stoppage it is.
Too well to knock off Declan Johnson.
Yes, I know, it's tough. It could be back-to-back weeks for Declan Johnson on that award.
Rightly so.
5 goals. Oh, not quite 4. 4 goals, nearly 5 goals. He's probably got about 4 goal 4.
It's a foot race between two Rovers here, and Brodie Rover has absolutely pantsed Harry Beavis on the run there, and he's got the footy and kicks it to the man we were just talking about, Declan Johnson, with about 15 metres clear in front of him. He's got Jared Rowe leading for the footy. Declan takes 1 bounce, 2 bounce, right foot, kicks it towards goal and misses. He had about 20 minutes to think about that.
Gee whiz, fellas, he was about to clean up 3 awards all at once there.
Goal of the day for Seth to suit Loxton, young Charger.
Award, maybe best on ground as well.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure Jared Rowe was too happy with Declan blazing away there, but if you've kicked 4 goals in the first half, you've probably got a bit of a licence.
Yeah, come on, Rowe. Get something for the crowd.
Trevor Thorpe coming off for a bit of a rest on the interchange here for the Renmark Rovers. Oh, Haite, you can't do that. You can't jump over someone's head, even if their head's over the ball, and that'll be... Oh,
evidently
no.
you can.
Empire's right, okay. I thought that might have been too high. Okay.
Maybe the umpire didn't see it, fellas.
Well, potentially ducked. That's the other way you could read that one.
Here we go. Wesley tries to get the ball off half-back for Loxton North, but only as far as Johnson D, Wolford D, who drives it deep into the forward lines.
Oh, almost a clunk from Jack Austin. Goes to ground. A few players.
Dane Austin in there wrestling for it.
He's been pinned for holding the ball, has Dane, so the Panthers with the footy in the back pocket.
I think the ump was working on the 360 rule there, fellas. Once you get slung around 360 degrees with the ball, you're gone.
Panthers doing their best to make more time on in this game and make this go on even longer. So another stoppage. Beswick with the footy in half-back.
He's been serviceable today for the tall defenders for Loxton North.
Kicks up the line, but didn't hit the target, and the Rovers now go on the attack. There's Johnson with the footy. Oh, umpire says...
Incorrect disposal by the Renmark player, and that will come back to Loxton North's Adam Wesley at halfback.
Wesley with the footy. Goes straight up the line. This is ugly. Right to a contest. Doesn't go too far. Lewis through a bit of traffic. Kicks out in front of Vumard. Vumard brings it back inboard. He dodged a couple, but the Rovers are home. Vader, the goalkeeper, he's also a bit inspired by the Matildas this week, and they switch it out to the scoreboard side, and the Rovers have once again, Ben, got a paddock.
Yeah, Brodie Rover had a lot of time to collect that footy and used it to go inboard and find Matt Wilford, who's got the ball now. Morgan Edwards gives him an option. Dane Austin gives him an option. Not a lot of movement from North. And you're pointing at Jared Rowe, I believe, Nobby?
Yeah. Well, look at him. He's still friendless out here in the half-forward flank.
So they go deep inside 50. There's 3 Rovers hunting this. One of them is Liam Jackson, who gets the ball, tries to fend off a much taller opponent. And just takes it out over the line.
Every time the ball goes near Liam Jackson, something happens.
For good or for bad.
Just something happens, Ben. Not being judgmental on it.
Ball in from the pocket.
It makes
Renmark
it happen.
deep in attack, but it's Wesley for Loxton North that clears it out, but finds Josh Vader for the Renmark coach, who bombs it into the attacking 50 quickly. Look for Johnson in the pocket. They've finally got someone manning up on him now. It's taken 4 quarters, Nobby Norton.
Yeah. Would you say that Vader's sort of assumed the role of quarterback here at the moment?
It looks like he's just parked himself across that sort of middle of the ground at the moment and then floats towards the half-back. So I think you're right, mate. I think he's probably going to set up a few in this last quarter as well.
If you equated footy to chess, would you say Renmark are 3 moves ahead or 10 moves ahead?
I often do that, and probably double digits.
Because it's almost as if you see Loxton North, they get a couple of handballs and a couple of kicks, but Renmark aren't too phased because they know where it's going to go, and they can set up and just go on the rebound anyway.
Yeah, fellas, using the chess analogy, I think they were mated halfway through the second quarter.
I think that has come to fruition. Lockie Lellman's got the footy now, so it's a set shot from about 45 out.
Lining up for his second goal of the day.
He's been in a lot of the play. Lockie Lellman goes back.
Lovely kick. Won't quite get there.
Big pack flies on the goal line and it's rushed through for a behind to the Rovers.
Here we go. I think the coach might be just shaking the dirt off his boots as he comes to the bench. That might be it.
Cue in the rack.
Could be.
Josh Vader.
90 plays 18 on the Aquatic Work Control Australia's scoreboard. Renmark Rovers fans, get that transport organised because you're heading to Waikerie in a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's a trek, isn't it?
Bus companies will be frothing with inquiries this week, I would have thought.
Oh, you don't take the bus, you do what you normally do.
Oh, I'm talking about the spectators, not the players.
I've seen that come unstuck previously. The bus to the footy, to the grand final.
This is one of the first times the ball's been directly in front of us all day, boys. Morgan Edwards with the ball inside 50. Jackson can't reach it. Clean bowls Harrison Brown. Tyson Kent's there to mop up. Handball's inboard. A little bit dangerous. There's Rovers still hunting this, but they're going to get out of jail here north. And it's Bradley Beswick with the footy.
Oh, lovely leg.
Finds Wesley somehow on one hand. Told to play on. Justin Proud's got a couple of metres in front of him. Can Loxton North make something of this? The Panther veteran, can he salvage something from his trip to Renmark today? No, he can't. Harry Beavis.
Caught in two minds there. I don't think he knew if he wanted to pass off to Ryan or go for home, and I think he ended up choosing the third, which was to just kick it straight to Harry Beavis.
They might have to subdivide that other goal square to Harry Beavis as well, Nobby Norton.
Wouldn't be his Coach Vader. He hasn't had enough of this. He's back.
Straight back on. That was only about 30 seconds after we said he was done. So, speaking of, Zach Gartree takes a strong mark for Renmark.
See, I don't mind that, guys. At least he had someone with him,
Tough man to beat.
Unlike this bloke.
Well, he's found space all day, but no talk at all from Harrison Brown. I don't think Joe Rowe knew he was there, and Beswick hunted down.
And you know what? It's taken 3.5 quarters for Jared Rowe to be tackled today.
Correct. I reckon he might have heard himself.
Yeah, he's coming off here.
Come straight to the bench.
It's a hand injury, fellas, not leg. So
hand kick up the line. Loxton North now in their forward pocket. Ryan Proud was the target, but punched forward. Harry Beavis once again. Tell you what, he must be a contender for the hardest worker award today. Harry Beavis, Nobby Norton.
Yeah, well, he's right in counting for it.
In the conversation.
Yeah, he's in the conversation, Ben. But
defenders often get overlooked.
Yeah.
I think next year we've got to get a Defender of the Day award.
We're going to run out of awards.
Well, everyone's got to keep something.
Yep, he'd be up there today for sure. Hasn't had a whole lot to do, but everything he's done well.
Yeah, sure has, fellas.
We could have most efficient. We could have
meters gained.
Maybe best improved in a game. Not normally a season award.
Who started poor and finished strong. Yeah. Most bounces.
Here he comes again. Dan Wolford. He thought he'd come over and see us so he could get in the awards, Ben, because you left him out last week because he's playing on the far side.
Just happy to know someone's reading, mate. It's good to know you're keeping tabs.
Yeah.
Oh, loose footy, but it doesn't matter because Renmark, Matt Wolford's had his third bite at it in this piece of play. Finds Vader, kicks up and hits the target, Harrison Brown.
And Harrison Brown, you're right for 2 weeks' time because the coach just kicked it to you.
Yeah, that's when you know.
Yeah, that's
a good convert though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, maybe that's the challenge he set him.
You're doing all right if you can swing it that way, mate.
Yeah.
91 plays 18. It's been all Renmark Rovers today here at Renmark. Loxton North will be saddling up for a prelim final in a couple of weeks' time. Well, next week, rather. Renmark will be settling up for a trip to Waker in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely. Brown has tossed the grass in the air.
Matthew Lloyd style.
Looking forward, right foot shot. Looks pretty good off the boot.
Oh,
if you don't mind.
He's got it.
One finger in the air. Harrison Brown's happy. The Rovers are happy. And that's the 14th of the day for Renmark. Running away with this game. Just got enough on that. About a metre or so over the line.
Yep.
Just did what he had to.
About to crack the ton as well. Always good when you clock up the 3 digits on a score.
Just looks better.
Boys, just a quick look into the game. Loxton North haven't been allowed possession or efficient use of the ball forward to centre today by Renmark. And Renmark back to their best of rebounding off halfback.
These last 2 weeks are menacing for both Loxton North and the two teams playing tomorrow in Waikerie and Barmera, because they're going to have to come up against the Rovers in the grand final. By the looks, 12-goal margin, more so 13 goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pretty commanding effort here by the top side, the regular season. You're number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed, and they remain number 1 seed.
Hard to argue with that.
Yep. On the back of today's effort, they might be the 2nd seed as well.
Kai Filkey and a couple of North players managed to drive it up the eastern wing, but it stops at the flank, spills out of bounds, and we'll have a ball in. To
Captain Courageous Fumate, he hasn't stopped giving all day for the Panthers, whether it be in defence or up forward or on the ball. You know, the interesting thing, guys, and no reflection on the player, but Ryan Proud, league-leading goal kicker, has been denied any chance at goals today.
Well, we spoke about Harry Beavis' influence. He's worn him like a glove all day and been able to have plenty going the other way as well. But it's tough for Proudy on days like today when there's only been 8 scoring shots. Yeah. And, you know, he hasn't really had the supply that he probably has had at other times this year when he's kicked these bags of 8 and 6 and whatnot. Yeah.
Wolford to Austin. Austin tackled.
And he's done good work when he's come out of the forward 52, Ryan Proud. He's provided a little bit.
Well, he might get a chance here. North have the footy floating around.
Beswick shoots it across and finds Kai Filkey, exactly on the 50-metre mark.
He's on the plane at 50.
Shoots it back to Wooldridge, who has a go.
Booming left foot kick. Might just be fading in the right
direction.
And
that's a goal.
Through. Gee whiz, I tell you what.
That
Lockie,
might have just got the surf to seat Loxton goal.
I didn't think out of the 3 Loxton North goals we'd have a massive contender for the surf to suit goal of the day. But
I had Zach Gartery's goal down, but I'm starting to think that one might have just edged past it, Ben.
What are you thinking, Lockie?
The only problem with this approach is the old quality over quantity doesn't win you a game of football.
No, this is it. Yeah, this is true.
It's a good individual.
The highlight reel, yeah.
Mind you, that was a heck of a leg.
It certainly was a good kick. The goal of the day award, whoever the committee for that is going to be working very hard this afternoon.
Well,
in the
the
next
question
15 minutes.
Why not? Why didn't that happen 3.5 quarters earlier?
Yeah,
it's very easy to say that when the clock is ticking right down towards the end of this game, and Renmark still fighting here, and Hampel's been dumped with the footy there, but North might get a chance to go forward again. Kudger's got the footy streaming out of the centre square, goes long and strong. Beavis is going to fly, gets first hands to it. A couple of Panthers there.
Here he is, fellas.
He's finally going to hit the scoreboard. The leading goal kicker kicks one through from close range, and 2 in quick succession for North, so something for the fans to cheer about over in that opposite grandstand.
Goal number 4. The Loxton North supporters obviously not aware that the Murray Pest Control clock does still have batteries in it and is still ticking down.
I think you got to cheer. True value is knowing that you got to cheer when you're getting pumped, and it makes it all that sweeter when you get up. But look, I might just be having a few words to Lockie Lillman as he comes off for a rest here.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who Lockie Lillman was having a chat with there.
Regardless, it's the case of the old scoreboard.
Obviously, a fan from. Boys just strolling past us, getting ready for tomorrow's game.
Bit of scouting. Frankie Sampson.
Fraser Sampson, Barmera Monash coach.
Here's one for you, Nobby. If you're Loxton North, who do you hope gets up tomorrow? Are you willing to make?
I think you're after Waikerie to get up. Yeah. After being beaten twice by Barmera Monash on your home deck.
That's some pretty sound logic. And that game will be at Loxton North next week as well, so it could be a three-peat.
Yeah, exactly.
Footy bumped into the umpire, Matt Grummett, there, and Mac says, my footy, we'll ball that one up. I think a fair play. I do like the old ricochet off the umpire. It adds a bit to the game. You don't see it in any other sports.
Just a bit of stat padding from Mac.
Don't think it's going to impact the result of this game. Loxton North now go on the attack again into their attacking 50, but doesn't matter because Mitch Jenke, good mark, has a bounce, handballs forward.
Morgan Edwards now with the ball. Kicks it to Liam Jackson, who's just floated into the centre square. Jackson turns and goes immediately. Kicks a nice high ball towards Alex Haynes in a bit of a wrestle. Ball goes to ground. Haynes is able to rove it, though. Gives the handball back to Jackson, who kicked it to him in the first place. Liam fires a shot on goal, and it's going to roll through for a behind. A few boys in front of us thought that one went through.
Well, boys, looking at the scoreboard, Loxton North have kicked 2 goals to Renmark's 1, but Renmark have outscored them because Renmark have kicked 1 goal 8 this quarter.
Yeah, haven't made the most of their opportunities.
Just called something here, said bring it back. So we'll go again.
Just wants the game to keep going.
Not sure if that was really needed. It's gone back to Josh Nelson now in the form. So
the Groundhog Day action.
We literally had an instant replay there. He takes it up to half-back. Jai Drake for Loxton North. Campbell to Kai Filkey to Kent. Nice. Over to Kudra. Kudra now starting to get a few kilometres in his legs. Kicks up, finds Justin Proud. He's got a paddock at half forward. Kicks to the top of the square, looking for a target. Coney flew for it, but there's 1-on-4 Rovers there, and it was the Rovers that managed to hold it in.
Coney will be rewarded for the tackle, and caught his Renmark opponent holding the ball, according to the umpire.
That was Trevor Thorpe there.
Thorpe won't be too happy with that because
he did really well to spoil in the first place and get the ball, but it was a good tackle by Coney, so he's going to go back and try and kick his second of the day.
He was battling 4 players there, Thorpe, and he nearly got away with it.
Nice little flurry at the end. That was a good passage of play by North on the far side there. That's probably how they wanted to play all day, but just haven't been allowed to. But Coney hasn't made the most of it. It's another minus score to the Panthers. They go to 5-7 now on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard. Plays Renmark 14 goals, 13-97. So.
You know, the interesting thing about that last centre clearance was that Loxton North has thrown Kai Filkey into the middle, and also another young player in there as well, in
Jai Drake.
As well, and I mean that's better coaching. You might as well expose those young fellas when the game's over.
Board around a bit, why not?
Is the magnet board still in existence, or is it scrap metal now, Nobby? That's the problem. Beswick
He's been solid. He's been solid
on the wing for Loxton North with a good mark. Brings it inboard, finds Zach Waldridge. Beat his teammate Josh Vader to the footy there. Kicks over the top. Kai Filkey taking it more inboard. He kicks it up forward. Oh, not a bad mark there from Loxton North, and that was Jai Drake there.
That's what I'm saying, fellas. The younger blokes sort of waxing the ball around. It's probably not a bad thing to do. If not for next week or the week after, for next year.
Lockie Longman back on the field for the Renmark Rovers.
I was worried about the scoreboard, fellas, when they had 5 up, because I only had 4 goal kickers for Loxton North, and now it's back to the proper score.
Jai Drake's kick on goal didn't quite make the distance and spilled over for a
Which is Australian
score.
Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard 14-14 plays 4-7. Loxton North 4-7.
Harrison Brown in the back pocket for Renmark. Looks up, finds Dane Austin, number 24.
Gee, they've got some players that do it at both ends of the ground, haven't they?
Absolutely. Just the work rate. I reckon that might have been a chance that was touched, but Kilmarath's taking the mark nonetheless. Got Jack Austin down the line if he wants him. Goes over his head. Jared Rowe in a 1 out. Just edges his opponent under the footy. He's going to try and rove the ball, but he eventually gets it and ends up on the bottom of the pack.
Yeah, tackled by Wesley there, but it was a dead footy before that anyway, I would have thought. 99 plays 32. It's the Rovers all of minutes away from another grand final.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see how they come off this win, because they don't celebrate a lot, Renmark. They just always, when you see them, they look at each other with the, we're happy with how we performed, and next week's all we're worried about.
Time to celebrate is the Sunday after the grand final, I think, is the
Waldridge at half forward for Loxton North, shoots the ball forward, and Coney again manages to get his opponent under the ball. I reckon his opponent's Morgan Edwards.
Anspatch, I reckon.
Yeah, correct. It's Jake Anspatch on the mark. So pretty much a carbon copy of just before. Coney from this position. He's at a cider.
Yeah, so he needs to kick it at the left-hand post there, Caleb. You just missed to the right before. Just a bit further left. Either that or hold the little disc on the inside. And he did.
Oh, bending back, hits the post.
He did aim left, and he got it. He hit the left-hand goalpost, right in the middle of the goalpost for a point.
That's what happens when you listen to Nobby Norton.
Yeah, it's commentator's curse, mate.
So
Through goes Kudra at speed. Makes a contest. Ball bounces out to Kai Filkey, who also steers the ball right for another point.
Sprays it again, just adding more time into this game, Loxton North. 4-9-32. They trail the Renmark Rovers 14-98. The Rovers just about to rack
Boys,
up the ton.
I'm just doing some sums here. 1 goal, 8 to 2 goals, 3. That puts Loxton North just in front on the quarter, boys.
You said they needed to win the quarter and go out on the high, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was thinking they need to win it in convincing fashion, Ben, not just limp.
No, I don't think this does too much for the momentum. They'll be pretty flat after this one, North. They had a big chance today.
Particularly conceding 9 shots at goal to the opposition. Vader stretching up again, wants a bit more of the action over here on the boundary line. Either that or he's cooling down, perhaps.
Lellman to Austin in the back
Sampson
pocket.
Back again. He left his water bottle behind.
He's seen enough, Big Frankie, I reckon. He's got a job to do tomorrow.
Handball over the top. Loxton North now trying to bring this one back towards their attacking end, but a bump over the boundary line from Beswick. Not sure if that was all that needed on Kelmarath.
Kelmarath's laughed in response. I think that
I think Bezzy feels a bit better about it, though.
Because Kelmarath knows he's going to be heading to Waker in a couple of weeks. That is the only question out of this game for me is anyone going to come back into this side, and who steps out of it?
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It's 2 weeks to work it out.
Zunic and Tim Blight are the two obvious ones that have played the majority of the year for the Rovers, out with injury at the moment. Do you risk them in the grand final? Do you go in unchanged after 2 big wins against the top teams?
All bar an injury at training, I don't think you can change this team.
Zunic's kicked the 3rd or 4th most goals in the comp this year. He's one of the best small forwards they've got.
Yeah, he certainly
Kudra
is.
out of the back of the pack, drives the ball forward with a bit of a torpedo come mongrel, but out it comes again. Rebound from Renmark.
Mitch Jenke.
Yep. He's had a serviceable day like 21 of his teammates have.
Might have to read out the whole team.
There is no passengers in this list.
The big hit by Jack Austin, I think it was, that laid the shepherd. Harrison Brown might get the footy here. It's a nice mark from Brown.
And there's the siren, boys, with the score currently. Renmark 14-98 playing Loxton North 4-10-34, but still a little bit more to come and maybe a bit more of an entry on the Aquatic Weed Control Australia scoreboard.
We'll just stay with this to see if Harrison Brown can get the ton.
It's a bit of a stitch up. He can't run around after the siren's gone, so he's going to have to kick this with a drop punt.
Not a lot
that
riding
confuses
on this,
me, Ben, because if you want to kick the ball around the corner with a bit of a hooker...
It looks good off the boot. And a goal of the day served to suit contender after the siren.
If ever there was a cherry on top of the cake, that's it. Harrison Brown from the tightest of angles. Exclamation mark on a pretty good day for the Rovers.
Sort of takes the sting out of the discussion I was going to have.
Yeah,
if you're kicking around
day.
the corner, you're allowed to go back off your mark 3 metres and then run around. Kick it on the...
Good luck.
I can't get that.
Good luck working out the awards in a minute. We'll go back to Trevor Scott in the Sideline View studio at 5 and when we return, we will dissect the prelim of the second semi-final here at Renmark this afternoon. But Renmark Rovers fans, get your transport in order because 2 weeks' time you're heading to the 2023 Riverland Football League Grand Final at Waikerie. Trevor Scott, back to you in the studio.